वो संजय राउत के साथ पूछताछ कर रहे हैं और इधर छापा मारा जा रहा है। उसके सामने लगभग 30 शिवसैनिक हैं, इधर काफ़ी कोई जो बैठ चुके हैं, उनके पीछे लोग खड़े हैं जो आपके अभी तस्वीरों में हम दिखा रहे हैं। उनके साथ शिवसेना के झंडे हैं और वो बहुत समय से, अभी लगभग 1 घंटे से शिवसेना और संजय राउत के पक्ष में नारेबाजी कर रहे हैं। तो उनके नारे हैं नेता कैसा हो, संजय राउत जैसा हो, संजय राउत आगे बढ़ो, हम तुम्हारे साथ हैं। बट ये नारों का ईडी का जो केस है उसके साथ कोई लेना देना नहीं है। ईडी के केस के बारे में संजय राउत का क्या कहना है, वो अभी तक उन्होंने चुप्पी साधी हुई है, उन्होंने नहीं कहा है कुछ। उन्होंने कहा है कि बाला साहेब ठाकरे और शिवसेना की लड़ाई चलती रहेगी, बट ये तो एक पॉलिटिकल स्टेटमेंट हुआ। ये एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट का जो जांच में पाया गया है ये पात्रा चौल रीडेवलपमेंट स्कैम केस में, उसके बारे में उन्होंने नहीं कहा है। संजय राउत को 2 बार पिछले भी सप्ताह में, पिछले महीने में भी बुलाया गया था एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट ने, बट वो आए नहीं थे। पहली बार उन्होंने कहा था कि उनकी जो सरकार थी।
saying, Ankit, a political war of words already beginning, even as you're telling us, well, let's Alisha and Ankit, stay with us. We'll be coming back to you throughout the day. Major developing story. Let's listen into what the BJP has to say on the matter.
कर नहीं उसे डर किस बात का? यदि शिवसेना नेता ने कुछ गलत पैसों की धांधली नहीं की है तो ईडी अफसरों ने जब उन्हें जांच के लिए बुलाया 3 दिन पूर्व, वे क्यों नहीं गए? अफसरों के सवालों से बचने का क्या कारण? उनके पास सुबह दोपहर शाम पत्रकार वार्ता करने के लिए समय है, पर ईडी के अफसरों के सवालों का जवाब देने के लिए उनके पास समय नहीं है। क्या देश इस बात की सच्चाई नहीं जानता? यह बदला हुआ भारत है। इस भारत में नेता हो, अभिनेता हो, उद्योगपति हो, छोटा हो, बड़ा हो, कानून के सामने सारे समान हैं। कानून अपनी कार्रवाई करेगा।
संजय राउत को आखिर हिसाब देना पड़ेगा। 1200 करोड़ का पत्राचार घोटाला हो, वसई नायगांव में जो यूनिटेक पीएससीएल बिल्डर का घोटाला हो, माफियागिरी हो, लोगों को धमकियां देना, जेल में डालना, जिस प्रकार से एनडीए सरकार ने महाराष्ट्र में भ्रष्टाचार का आतंक फैलाया था, अब संजय राउत को अपने भ्रष्टाचार का, माफियागिरी का, दादागिरी का हिसाब देना पड़ेगा।
विरोधक आणि ईडी, सीबीआय, इन्कम टॅक्सच्या रेड्स, आता हे एक समीकरण झालेलं आहे। भाजपसाठी ईडी, इन्कम टॅक्स, सीबीआय ह्या आता तपास यंत्रणा नाही राहिलेल्या आहे। एक राजकीय टूल झालेला आहे विरोधकांना नमवण्याचं, आणि त्याच्यातलाच एक भाग म्हणजे आज संजय राऊतांकडे रेड होते आहे। मला एक गोष्ट कळत नाही की तुमच्याकडे सगळ्या गोष्टी डॉक्युमेंटेड आहे, तुम्ही म्हणता इथे इथे घोटाळा झालेला आहे, मग तुम्ही सरळ चार्जशीट का दाखल करत नाहीत? सारखं इन्क्वायरीला बोलवायचं आणि रेड टाकायची आणि घाबरवण्याचा प्रयत्न करायचा, याच्या मागचा उद्देश अगदी स्पष्ट आहे। आणि तो असा आहे की तुम्ही एक तर आमच्या पक्षामध्ये सामील व्हा, नाही तर मग जेलमध्ये जायला तयार राहा। कदाचित आता जे विरोधी पक्ष आहेत उरलेले ते स्पष्ट आहेत, त्यांनी काही गुन्हा केलेला नाही आहे, त्यामुळे ते संघर्षाचा मार्ग नक्कीच पत्करतील।
And going back once again to our correspondents Ankit and Alisha. Ankit, coming to you once again. Ankit, well, we were just listening to reactions coming in from the Bharatiya Janata Party. As you said earlier, clearly a political war of words now likely to erupt. It has. And the BJP has questioned Sanjay Raut's evasions of ED questioning. It has alleged corruption, it has alleged fraud, and he said that the BJP says this is a different India where the law will take its course. Well, when we talk about politics there, even as Eknath Shinde is getting ready, to expand his cabinet, here it's a question, the question of which is the real Shiv Sena, who will inherit the symbol, who will inherit the name. That is still a battle that Sanjay Raut and other Uddhav loyalists are continuing to fight.
Yes, that is an ongoing battle, and it is likely that that is a battle that will be resolved in court over a number of issues, including the symbol and the name of the Shiv Sena. That is something that is unavoidable at this moment, because what is very clear is that Eknath Shinde has made away with a large portion of the elected leaders of the Shiv Sena in both the Maharashtra Assembly as well as in the Lok Sabha. There are, of course, the Shiv Sena has a lot of corporators. It is in charge of the Mumbai Municipal Corporation, and that is an election that is set to take place very shortly, because directions have been given to initiate the process and issue the dates for those elections. So that is a battle that is ongoing, and a key protagonist for the Uddhav Thackeray section and an antagonist in terms of the BJP and Eknath Shinde alliance in that matter has been Sanjay Raut. Of course, none of that needn't have anything to do with what is going on at present, which is the Enforcement Directorate's case. And if you really look at it, since the year 2007, when the redevelopment of this Patra Chaul, the contract for this and the agreement for this was signed, the fact of the matter is that 672 flats were to be handed over to the occupants of the Patra Chaul as part of the redevelopment. None of that has been handed over. Instead, the allegation is that that land parcel was instead sold to private companies and private entities. And so that contract was unfulfilled. And yet, the company that was run by Praveen Raut, Guru Ashish Constructors, that had received an almost 100 crore rupees equity infusion from HDIL. I believe that is what the agency's findings are. And also, there is said to be a purported transfer
Ankit, will be coming back to you, and Alicia as well. Stay with us. But right now on the phone, we have, we have Ravi Rana. Mr. Rana, your reactions to these breaking developments coming in now, Sanjay Raut being questioned after he evaded those summons. What do you have to say? The BJP on its part, a political war of words clearly erupting at this point, while Sanjay Raut supporters say that it is political vendetta. The BJP, well, your reactions. Yes, sir, please.
नहीं, ऐसा देखिए, आपने देखा है संजय राउत जी को कई बार ईडी ने जांच के लिए बुलाया है, और जांच करने के बाद ही आज उनके घर पे ईडी की टीम पहुंची है, सीआईएसएफ के जवान पहुंचे। ईडी पूरी निष्पक्ष जांच कर रही है। संजय राउत पत्राचाल के अंदर जो घोटाला हुआ है, उसके अलावा उनके अलीबाग में बड़ी संपत्ति है, बॉम्बे में कई फ्लैट है। एक पत्रकार होने के नाते करोड़ों रुपए की संपत्ति जमा करना, और महाविकास आघाड़ी जब उद्धव ठाकरे जी सीएम थे, महाविकास आघाड़ी के एजेंट करके वो काम करते थे, और मुंबई महानगर पालिका जो है वो करोड़ों रुपए की जो टेंडर है, करोड़ रुपए जो काम बांटे जाते थे, उसमें भी एजेंट के बतौर वो काम करते थे। जब संजय राउत को पैसा पहुंचाया जाता था, उसके बाद ही महाविकास आघाड़ी में और बीएमसी मुंबई महानगर पालिका के अंदर कई बड़े बड़े कॉन्ट्रैक्टरों को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया जाता था। और आज आपने देखा है ईडी जो कार्रवाई कर रही है, आपने देखा जिस तरह से हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ने के ऊपर हमें लॉकअप में डाला गया। महाविकास आघाड़ी में मुख्यमंत्री उद्धव ठाकरे थे, बार बार संजय राउत कह रहे थे कि उनको अरेस्ट करो, और हमको ये भी धमकियां दी गई थी कि हमको 20 फुट गड्ढे के अंदर गाड़ेंगे, हमारी मशान के अंदर गौरिया पहुंच चुकी है। आपने देखा है जिस तरीके से हमारे घर में पुलिस आके हमें अरेस्ट करती है, लॉकअप में डालती है, वहाँ पानी भी दिया नहीं जाता है, बैठने के लिए सतरंजी दी नहीं जाती है, 14 दिन जेल में रखा जाता है। तो महाविकास आघाड़ी में सही मायने में पावर का दुरुपयोग अगर किसी ने किया है तो संजय राउत ने किया है। और बाला साहब ठाकरे के जो शिव सैनिक थे ओरिजिनल, वो एकनाथ शिंदे जी के साथ है। आज एकनाथ शिंदे जी मुख्यमंत्री है, उसका कारण ही है कि बाला साहब ने कभी ये नहीं कहा था कि उद्धव ठाकरे जी को कांग्रेस की गोदी में जाके बैठाओ, या कांग्रेस के घर में जाके उनको खड़ा करो, या कांग्रेस के साथ सत्ता बनाओ। जिस दिन कांग्रेस के साथ उद्धव ठाकरे जाएंगे, उस दिन बाला साहब ने कहा था, उस दिन मैं शिवसेना का सेक्टर बंद कर दूंगा, ये बाला साहब ने कहा था। पर संजय राउत ने पूरी तरह से एजेंट का काम करते हुए, पूरी तरह से एजेंट बन के शिवसेना को डुबाने का काम किया है।
Many allegations, Mr. Rana, from all quarters against Sanjay Raut. Right now, even as we speak, he's being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate in an early Sunday morning call by the Enforcement Directorate. And we are getting you all the updates. Mr. Rana, many thanks for speaking with Republic.
Wherever you are, whenever you want. Republic live stream with you everywhere. Republic live stream, India's #1 streaming news.
This week, watch Checkmate to know why India is buying the latest arms and ammunitions. Why is India getting the latest defense technology from the world? Why is India arming itself at such a rapid rate? But I will tell you what I believe. I believe India has global ambitions. I believe India wants to be a global leader. When India says that it wants to become a Vishwaguru, it is not just talking about intellectual pursuit. It's not just talking about soft power. India is also talking about hard power.
The question this time very clearly, no answers from him. Our keys continue to be with his men. We faced intimidation here. We've been trying to get in touch with you and ask you several questions on the land deals that you had along with Priyanka Vadra and Robert Vadra. Why are you trying to avoid the camera? Once again trying to get in a word with Mr. Vijay Mallya. Persistently been asking you only one question. Mallya, why did you escape in 2015?
Michelle, first visuals on your scene. Christian, would you give facts to India?
Mr. Bhandari, just one question, sir.
Mr. Mallya, why are the questions bothering you when I'm not getting a single answer?
Police vans have also come in right now just to give the security to the BJP legislators right now as they are staying here for a while before the government formation actually takes place. About 17 locations where these searches are being carried out. In all likelihood, the number is going to go up. There could be some arrests. Total of 8 CCTV footages that have been accessed. This encapsulates Kohli's murder that has taken place.
Of Flight Lieutenant Aditya Bal has arrived at his native residence. People, they are thousands in number, have arrived here to pay last tribute.
This week, watch Checkmate to know why India is buying the latest arms and ammunitions. Why is India getting the latest defense technology from the world? Why is India arming itself at such a rapid rate? But I will tell you what I believe. I believe India has global ambitions. I believe India wants to be a global leader. When India says that it wants to become a Vishwaguru, it is not just talking about intellectual pursuit. It's not just talking about soft power. India is also talking about hard power.
வானம் தான் பாடிற்று
He heard the question this time very clearly. No answers from him. Our keys continue to be with his men. We faced intimidation here. We've been trying to get in touch with you and ask you several questions on the land deals that you had along with Priyanka Vadra and Robert Vadra. Why are you trying to avoid the cameras? Once again trying to get in a word with Mr. Vijay Mallya. Persistently been asking you only one question. Mallya, why did you escape in 2015?
First visuals on your scene. Christian, would you give facts to India?
Mr. Bhandari, just one question, sir.
Mr. Mallya, why are the questions bothering you when I'm not getting a single answer?
Police vans have also come in right now just to give the security to the BJP legislators right now as they are staying here for a while before the government formation actually takes place. About 17 locations where these searches are being carried out. In all likelihood, the number is going to go up. There could be some arrests. Total of 8 CCTV footages that have been accessed. This encapsulates Kohli's murder that has taken place.
Of Flight Lieutenant Advitya Bal has arrived at his native residence. People, they are thousands in number, have arrived here to pay last tribute to this brave that has laid down his life.
उसमें आग लगी हुई है और आंदोलनकारी इस तरीके से
और कश्मीरी
आप देख रहे हैं इस समय यहाँ पे अब पूरी की पूरी प्रिपरेशन की जा रही है. किसी भी समय यहाँ पे महाराष्ट्र के अगले मुख्यमंत्री आने वाले हैं.
ये मिनट टू मिनट आर टू आर पेट्रोलिंग इस समय दिल्ली की सड़कों पर पेट्रोलिंग हो रही है.
शरद पवार का पहले ट्वीट आया, उसके बाद यहाँ पे कंफर्मेशन हुआ है एनसीपी एज अ पार्टी शपथ ग्रहण में यहाँ पे मौजूद होगी.
Top headlines this Sunday morning, early morning ED action in Mumbai. Sanjay Raut now raided. Raut skips 2 summons. ED intensifies action, raids Raut's Bhandu residence. Fresh trouble for Raut. The ED hot chase gets hotter. Mega raids continue. India's medal tally goes up at the Commonwealth Games 2022. India bags 4 medals. Bengal cash scam hits Mamata government now. Major cabinet reshuffle expected soon. Good morning, viewers. Thanks for tuning in this Sunday morning. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. Straight away starting with our big story this Sunday morning, the mega ED raids which are currently underway at Sanjay Raut's residence. So tracking all the updates coming in on the ED raids which are currently underway as we speak, we are told 12 ED officials are present at Sanjay Raut's residence as we speak. In fact, those are the live visuals that are coming in from outside Sanjay Raut's residence, where the supporters of Sanjay Raut have gathered in large numbers to protest the ED action against Sanjay Raut with respect to the raids which are currently underway. Now, remember, these raids are in connection with the Patra Chaul scam. We have Ankit reporting live from outside Sanjay Raut's residence. Ankit, if you could give us the latest that you're picking up from your sources.
So the latest is that we'd seen how earlier there were about 30 Shiv Sainiks who were present here with their half a dozen flags, and now another estimated 20 of them have turned up. So in total there are about 50 Shiv Sainiks here who are in support of Sanjay Raut. There are also just as many people who are here who are not playing any part but are somehow just here to see what is happening, because this is a densely packed sort of area. These visuals of what we are showing you are those who are in support of Sanjay Raut. Their slogans are of the variety that we've heard before while tracking the Shiv Sena. नेता कैसे हो, शिव संजय राउत जैसा हो, संजय राउत आगे बढ़ो हम तुम्हारे साथ हैं. And there are equal number of slogans that are about the Shinde government and the Modi government and how these governments are scared, and when they are scared they send the ED forward. Now behind them is the residence of Sanjay Raut, and we'll just show you the residence also, and it's called Maitri, and you can see that it says Maitri and Sanjay Raut is the name below it, and it is a 3-story white building, and there is a garage in front of it, and within that is where the questioning of Sanjay Raut by these 12 Enforcement Directorate officers is in progress. There are a number of Mumbai police officers also inside. There is Mumbai police deployment in the lead up to this area as well. It's located in Bhandup, which is roughly between Mumbai and Thane. The other area that is important to mention is the Patra Chaul, which is located in Goregaon, which is also on the northwest of Mumbai. So the allegation is that in the year 2007, an agreement was signed for the redevelopment of this chaul. And unless I'm much mistaken, what happens in Mumbai is when a slum area is redeveloped, a portion of it is sold to a builder who builds his private apartments if he so chooses, but he must also build a certain construction which will allow the people of the slum to live, and so he has to give them area also to live, and so that is what was allegedly not done seemingly, and so that is the reason why the ED is here at this moment. And you can see that the Shiv Sainiks are here. There are about, my numbers are being contested, but there are about 50 of them here, and there are about 50 of them who are also behind the camera. And so you can see that there are a number of them who are seated and there are a number of them who are standing. And so they have their flags here with them, and there are behind them the officers of the Enforcement Directorate who are also standing inside, the police officers who are inside the residence of Sanjay Raut. We are showing you the visuals right now of the Shiv Sainiks who are here. We are showing you the visuals of the people who are here, and there are people who are heckling us for the numbers, but as you can see, viewers, there are about as many as we have said who are here. They have brought their flags along with them, and the ED raids are in progress. It's been about 2.5 hours that these raids have been on, and we are being told that there are over 100 people here. We are being told, and we are being told that the numbers are incorrect, but we are showing the viewers what we are showing them. There are other people also on their way here, and there is quite a lot of police deployment as well here, Samiksha.
Yes.
This is the Bhandup area where these raids are in progress. They've been going on for about 2.5 hours. And as you can see, this is the area where the police is on standby. There are more police officials which are coming in right now. While we were en route here, we saw a bus where the police personnel had come by, and that was parked on some of these lanes here. And that is the latest that we can tell you from the Bhandup area, from the Maitri residence of Sanjay Raut, where these raids are currently in progress.
Yes, Ankit, stay with us. Let's also listen to the reactions coming in by the BJP. So as Ankit is telling us, the raids are currently on for over 2.5 hours now, and 12 ED officials, we are told, at the moment are present at Sanjay Raut's residence. So let's play out that reaction as well of the BJP with regard to the ED raids on Sanjay Raut.
कर नहीं उसे डर किस बात का? यदि शिवसेना नेता ने कुछ गलत पैसों की धांधली नहीं की है, तो ईडी अफसरों ने जब उन्हें जांच के लिए बुलाया 3 दिन पूर्व, वे क्यों नहीं गए? अफसरों के सवालों से बचने का क्या कारण? उनके पास सुबह दोपहर शाम पत्रकार वार्ता करने के लिए समय है, पर ईडी के अफसरों के सवालों का जवाब देने के लिए उनके पास समय नहीं है। क्या देश इस बात की सच्चाई नहीं जानता? यह बदला हुआ भारत है। इस भारत में नेता हो, अभिनेता हो, उद्योगपति हो, छोटा हो, बड़ा हो, कानून के सामने सारे समान हैं। कानून अपनी कार्रवाई करेगा।
संजय राउत को आखिर हिसाब देना पड़ेगा। 1200 करोड़ का पत्राचाल घोटाला हो, वसई नायगांव में जो यूनिटेक पीएससीएल बिल्डर का घोटाला हो, माफियागिरी हो, लोगों को धमकियां देना, जेल में डालना, जिस प्रकार से एनडीए सरकार ने महाराष्ट्र में भ्रष्टाचार का आतंक फैलाया था, अब संजय राउत को अपने भ्रष्टाचार का, माफियागिरी का, दादागिरी का हिसाब देना पड़ेगा।
जिस तरह से देश में जांच एजेंसियों का इस्तेमाल राजनीतिक प्रतिद्वंदियों को या विपक्ष के नेताओं को झुकाने के लिए या अपने पक्ष में शामिल करने के लिए किया जा रहा है, मेरे ख्याल से 70 साल में ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ। आज जिस तरह से संजय राउत जी पे रेड हुई है, वो कोई नई बात नहीं थी, वो तो हमारे लिए भी मेहमान बने हैं। अगर किसी विपक्ष के ईडी नहीं पहुंचती है तो हमें अचरज होता है, आश्चर्य होता है कि ईडी अब तक कैसे नहीं आई। तो ये जो इस्तेमाल है, ये इस्तेमाल करते समय ध्यान में रखना चाहिए कि आप अच्छे लोगों को अगर तकलीफ दोगे, जो लोगों के मुद्दे को लेकर लड़ते हैं, उसे विपक्ष न मानते हुए अगर आप दुश्मन मानोगे, तो इस देश की जनता वो अंतिम सत्य है। इस देश की जनता जानती है कि क्या सच है और क्या झूठ है। तो इस तरह का जो वेंडेटा पॉलिटिक्स जो है, उसको हम नकारते हैं, सिरे से ठुकराते हैं और हम संघर्ष के लिए तैयार हैं। सारा विपक्ष जो है अब ईडी सीबीआई इनकम टैक्स से नहीं डरता है।
So, tracking closely all the developments in the mega Patra Chaul scam, for which ED is currently conducting raids at a residence belonging to Sanjay Raut. Now, remember, this is over 1,000 crore rupees scam for which the ED is currently raiding Sanjay Raut. Earlier, his aide Praveen Raut was also arrested in connection to the same scam. But Ankit continues to be with us. Ankit, interesting tweets there that have been put out by Sanjay Raut. If you could take us through those tweets that have been put out by Sanjay Raut, where he has invoked Bala Sahib Thackeray, saying that he has done no wrong.
Yeah, no doubt. In fact, the first tweet that Sanjay Raut had posted after this grilling began was that the battle of Maharashtra and the Shiv Sena will continue. So it was once again a statement of defiance that had been put out. We had seen also during the entirety of the Maharashtra political crisis, every now and then he would tweet things along the lines of Satyameva Jayate. They needn't necessarily have anything to do with the issue at the moment, but they would portray a strong front, because that's what Sanjay Raut is known to do. He is a problem solver many of the times for the Shiv Sena, but right now it is he himself who is in the eye of the storm on a number of fronts. But right now the one that has caught up with him is the Patra Chaul redevelopment case, because of which the enforcement directorate is at his home. All his supporters are here. They're gathered en masse from the locality, and now they've come from other places as well, and they have been sloganeering in his support. We've told you about some of the slogans that have been raised for him. Neta kaisa ho, Sanjay Raut jaisa ho, and that is the nature of things. And the other line of sloganeering is that when the government is afraid, then they send the ED forward. And so that is essentially the polemic that is going on in front of his residence. What is going on inside his residence between the 12 ED officials, the other security personnel, and Sanjay Raut and whoever else is being interrogated, that is anyone's guess. But we know for a fact that this dates back to 2007, when the contract was awarded and the agreement was signed for the redevelopment of the Patra Chaul in Goregaon in Mumbai. However, 672 tenants who were supposed to be given and relocated, and they were to be given flats after they were removed from the Chaul area, they were apparently not done so. Instead, 900 or so crore rupees were collected by giving FSI and selling of FSI by a business led by Praveen Raut to private builders. So that is where there was a breach. In 2018, it was that MHADA, the Maharashtra Housing Development Authority, filed an FIR in the case. There is also the question of a transfer of money in the form of some kind of interest-free loan between the wife of Praveen Raut and the wife of Sanjay Raut. And that is the allegation. In the process of this probe, about number of properties totaling 11 crore rupees, we are told, has been attached. One of them is a flat in Dadar that is under the name of someone related to Sanjay Raut, and there are also 8 parcels of land, we are told, in Alibag. So that is, in summary, some of the facts of this case, and that explains why we are here today. Another reason, of course, is that 2 summons that were previously issued to Sanjay Raut, he did not comply with for whatever his reasons are. One was that the political crisis was in progress, and the other was that the vice presidential elections are going on. But right now, he is being interrogated.
Yes, Ankit, thank you so much for summarizing the details of this over 1,000 crore rupees scam. We'll keep coming back to you as Ankit continues to get us latest reporting live from outside Sanjay Raut's residence, where the ED raids continue for over 2.5 hours now.
At least one terrorist has been neutralized in an encounter in Jammu and Kashmir's Baramulla district. Several incriminating material, including arms and ammunition, were found, including one AK-47 rifle and 2 magazines. The terrorist has been identified as Irshad Ahmed Bhatt of Baramulla. He was active since 2005 and was linked with the terror outfit group Lashkar-e-Taiba. The gunfight started on Saturday evening after a joint team of police and security forces received an input about the presence of terrorists in the area. One more terrorist is believed to be trapped, and a search operation is going on in the area. This is second such operation in Baramulla in less than 24 hours. Meanwhile, the security forces have cordoned off the area. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And more breaking news coming in, this one with respect to Maharashtra cabinet expansion. We are told Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and Deputy Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis met Union Home Minister Amit Shah and JP Nadda late last night in the national capital. The meet lasted for 4 hours, we are told, and sources now telling Republic that cabinet expansion of Maharashtra is likely very soon. While Chief Minister Shinde was firm on a 50-50 formula, the BJP has stressed on a 60-40 formula. So inside details coming in with respect to the cabinet expansion. Alisha is tracking all those details for us. Alisha, when can we expect the cabinet expansion in Maharashtra to take place?
Well, Samiksha, we know that Maharashtra cabinet expansion is going to take place in the next 2 to 3 days, because today where Eknath Shinde is in Aurangabad, but even yesterday he was in Sambhajinagar, but he left for national capital by around 8:39, where he met the top leaders. Now, what we got to know that Devendra Fadnavis, who was already in Delhi, he reached national capital by around 7 p.m. and later where Chief Minister Eknath Shinde has reached Delhi, where he met Amit Shah and JP Nadda. What we know that JP Nadda, who was in Patna yesterday, it is not confirmed whether he came to Delhi or he was present during video conferencing. It's something there's a question, but yes, he was there in the meeting, and the meeting that lasted for 4 hours. Now, what more, we have been told that the expansion of cabinet in Maharashtra has been sealed in this meeting. At initial, where Eknath Shinde was on 50-50 formula, but BJP has stressed out at 60-40 formula, and that has been solved in the same meeting. So importantly, where we know that the cabinet expansion in the state of Maharashtra is going to take place in the 2 to 3 days, where the meeting that held yesterday late night for around 4 hours with the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister with Amit Shah and JP Nadda. Minute-to-minute update only on Republic TV. We'll be back after a short break. Stay tuned.
Police vans have also come in right now just to give the security to the BJP legislators right now, as they are staying here for a while before the government formation actually takes place. About 17 locations where these searches are being carried out. In all likelihood, the number is going to go up. There could be some arrests. Total of 8 CCTV footages that have been accessed. This encapsulates Kole's murder that has taken place.
Flight Lieutenant Advitya Bal has arrived at his native residence. People, there thousands in number, have arrived here to pay last tribute to this brave heart that has laid down his life.
उसमें आग लगी हुई है और आंदोलनकारी इस तरीके से
और कश्मीरी
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
India has bagged the first medal at Commonwealth Games. India has secured a silver in weightlifting. So this is a big news. Boy from Maharashtra has secured a super silver. More medals are yet to come because this is just the beginning. The All India Council of Sufi Leaders is seeking a ban on PFI. This is a big breakthrough coming in. The chorus to ban PFI is getting louder.
PFI हो या उससे संबंधित और भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो जो रेडिकलिज्म की तरफ लोगों को ले जाते हैं, अगर उनके खिलाफ सफिशिएंट एविडेंस हैं तो उनको बैन किया जाना चाहिए, उनके खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई की जानी चाहिए.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
This week, watch Checkmate to know why India is buying the latest arms and ammunitions. Why is India getting the latest defense technology from the world? Why is India arming itself at such a rapid rate? But I will tell you what I...
That is Christian Michelle. First visuals on your scene. Christian, would you give facts to India?
Mr. Bhandari, just one question, sir.
Mr. Mallya, why the questions bothering you when I'm not getting a single answer?
Breaking updates coming from JNK where flash floods have been reported in Kathua. We are told that 3 people were washed away due to the flash floods that were reported in the Kathua area. So those are the visuals in fact also coming in of the flash floods that have been reported in Kathua, and rescue operations we are told are underway as 3 people reportedly got washed away due to the flash floods in the area. So situation there grim as far as the flash floods in the area is concerned due to incessant rainfall and the inclement weather conditions that prevail in JNK's Kathua. The flash floods that have been reported in Kathua, 3 people we are told were washed away. The rescue operations are underway to find those missing who as per reports were washed away in these flash floods that happened in Kathua area. So visuals also coming in of the flash floods that have been reported. Incessant rainfall meanwhile continues in several districts of JNK, and this particular incident coming to light from Kathua where the search is on to find those 3 missing people who reportedly have been washed away as a result of the flash floods in the area. And in the visuals, you can see how the rescue operations are underway. Gursimran is reporting live. Gursimran, if you could talk to us about the situation as of now. We understand that flash floods have been reported in multiple areas, and this news coming in from Kathua where 3 people have gone missing as well.
See, due to the heavy rainfall in the upper reaches, massive flash floods have occurred in the low-lying areas, especially in the Uj River and the Tarna Nala area that is in the Kathua district. The Special Operations Group, Jammu and Kashmir Police, CRPF and the Indian Army have also been roped in for the relief and rescue operations. 3 people have gone missing who have gone into the Tarna Nala at around 4 in the morning to excavate the sand from there. They have been washed away. Now the searches have been launched in the area, but due to the sudden rise in level of the Tarna Nala and river.
Yes.
See, now the relief and rescue operations are on, but it is really very difficult for the forces to go in the high flow water, and that's why the SDRF help is also being taken. They are looking into every possible angle so that those 3 missing can be taken out if they are alive at an earliest.
Yes. Gursimran, thank you for getting us all those details. So as Gursimran was telling us, the search is on to find those missing. 3 people who have gone missing as a result of flash floods that have been reported in Kathua. Quick roundup from the world of sports. India's Bindya Rani Devi has won a silver medal in women's 55 kg weightlifting at the Commonwealth Games in dramatic fashion to take India's tally to now 4. 23-year-old Bindya Rani lifted a total of 202 kgs. Bindya Rani lifted 86 kgs in snatch round and registered a Commonwealth Game record lift of 116 kgs in the clean and jerk round.
बहुत ज़्यादा खुश है। आज मेरा लाइफ का फर्स्ट टाइम है गेम्स, इसमें सिल्वर मेडल लिया, मैं बहुत खुश है।
Lavlina Borgohain started her Commonwealth Games 2022 campaign on a winning note as she defeated New Zealand's Ariane Nicholson in light middle weight 70 kg category on Saturday. Lavlina Borgohain will next lock horns in Commonwealth Games 2018 silver medalist Rosie Achilles of Wales in the quarterfinals, which will take place on Wednesday. Indian heavyweight boxer Sanjeet crashed out of the Commonwealth Games after losing to Samoa's Atualoa in a split verdict. Being defensive in the last 2 rounds cost training Asian champion Sanjeet Diaz Fogley came from behind to take the fixture 3-2 on Saturday. Indian badminton team scored another victory in the group match of the Commonwealth Games by thrashing Australia by 4-1 in their fixed team event to enter the quarterfinal on Saturday. Meanwhile, Virat Kohli's name was missing again as the Board of Control for Cricket in India's BCCI All India Senior Selection Committee announced the India squad for the 3-match ODI series against Zimbabwe from August 18. Shikhar Dhawan was in fact named the captain. Dhawan had led the Indian side to 3-0 win in West Indies with 3 ODIs in Zimbabwe scheduled to be held on 18th of August, starting 18th of August till the 22nd. Incessant rains continue to lash Uttarakhand, causing landslides in several districts. An incident of cloudburst has come to light in Sobla, Dharachula in Pithoragarh district. As per the Met Department, heavy to very heavy rains in isolated areas of both hilly and plain areas of Uttarakhand are expected over the next few days. As heavy rains triggered a cloudburst, the valley bridge near the Dholi Ganga river was washed away as the cloudburst triggered flash flood in the area. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Watch Checkmate to know why India is buying the latest arms and ammunitions. Why is India getting the latest defense technology from the world? Why is India arming itself at such a rapid rate? But I will tell you what I believe. I believe India has global ambitions. I believe India wants to be a global leader. When India says that it wants to become a Vishwaguru, it is not just talking about intellectual pursuit. It's not just talking about soft power. India is also talking about hard power.
Reading allows us to become familiar with ourselves.
We don't read, we won't know what is knowledge. I just find it very interesting to know people's lives, how they went through certain situations, how they dealt with things.
So wherever you want to go in life, if you read books along those lines, then that would really help you in growing.
Reading could mean a million different things to every individual. What does it mean to you? Visit readindia.info to find out more.
आग लगी हुई है और आंदोलनकारी इस तरीके से
और कश्मीरी
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live is streamed with you everywhere. Republic Live is streamed, India's #1 streaming news.
India has bagged the first medal at Commonwealth Games. India has secured a silver in weightlifting. So this is a big news. Boy from Maharashtra has secured a super silver. More medals are yet to come because this is just the beginning. The All India Council of Sufi Leaders is seeking a ban on PFI. This is a big breakthrough coming in. The chorus to ban PFI is getting louder.
PFI हो या उससे संबंधित और भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो जो रेडिकलिज्म की तरफ लोगों को ले जाते हैं, अगर उनके खिलाफ सफिशिएंट एविडेंस हैं तो उनको बैन किया जाना चाहिए, उनके खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई की जानी चाहिए.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
This week, watch Checkmate to know why India is buying the latest arms and ammunitions. Why is India getting the latest defense technology from the world? Why is India arming itself at such a rapid rate? But I will tell you what I believe. I believe India has global ambitions. I believe India wants to be a global leader. When India says that it wants to become a Vishwaguru, it is not just talking about intellectual pursuit. It's not just talking about soft power. India is also talking about hard power. I get a lot of feedback from Checkmate viewers saying that, Major, we should discuss weapons. Why don't you tell us about the weapons that India is procuring? It's very important that the Indian armed forces are armed with the best-in-class weaponry and the best-in-class equipment. I agree with you. And today, we're going to discuss some of the weapons that have already been inducted or are being inducted into the Indian armed forces, but with a twist. And the twist is the question, why is India arming itself at such a rapid pace? Hi, I'm Major Gauravari and you're watching Checkmate. My mind goes back to the time when India decided and informed the rest of the world that we are going ahead and buying the S-400 air defense systems. These were bought from Russia and most of them have been delivered, some are yet to be delivered. This rubbed everybody the wrong way, our friends and enemies alike. The Pakistanis didn't like it, of course. The Chinese didn't like it. The Americans didn't like it. The Europeans didn't like it, but they didn't say very much. In fact, apart from Russia and India, nobody liked it. And what were the reasons? The reasons were simple. The Chinese thought that if the Indians have S-400, they would have the best air defense system that we, the Chinese, also have. That would nullify any edge that China has over India in terms of air defense systems. Why didn't Pakistan like it? For obvious reasons. Pakistan does not have anything remotely close to the S-400. Very recently, there was a missile, Indian missile, that landed by mistake, a BrahMos missile no less, inside Pakistan. It flew almost 3.5 minutes inside Pakistani airspace before landing. It had no warhead, but it spooked the Pakistanis. They could not believe that something like this could have been a mistake. Why didn't America like it? America did not like the S-400 because America thought that India was going to the Russian camp. Nothing could be further from the truth. But this is what the Americans believed. They said that, well, you can buy the latest from us and we'll give it to you. But the thing with the Russians is that we trade in rupees with the Russians. We pay the Russians rupees when we buy from them. And the S-400 is the finest air defense system in the world. For a moment, America rattled its sabers and said they will sanction India under CAATSA. But then after a few months came the expected waiver. America realizes that America needs India to counter China. And China realizes that there is no bigger impediment, no bigger danger to its global ambitions than India. India is at China's doorstep. India, a country of 1.35 billion people. India, with an A-grade military, a rising economic superpower. Only India can look China in the eye and call China's bluff. This is exactly what we did in Doklam. This is exactly what we did in Galwan. And China knows when it confronts India what is coming. So why is India buying all these weapons? Let me be very categorical and frank. People from the Foreign Office may say that India needs it for its defense, which is also true. The armed forces may say that we need to upgrade our defense infrastructure. We need to upgrade our weapons and equipment. That is also true. But I will tell you what I believe. I believe India has global ambitions. I believe India wants to be a global leader. When India says that it wants to become a Vishwaguru, it is not just talking about intellectual pursuit. It's not just talking about soft power. India is also talking about hard power. And hard power comes from the military. And let me explain how and why. I've often said this and I'll say this again. When you go and negotiate with another country, that other country must know how powerful you are. Global diplomacy is also a game of brinksmanship. It is also a game of good relations and how far you can push the envelope. For too long, the Indian military has remained on the sidelines, while global diplomacy was the preserve of the Foreign Office. And I must admit that the Foreign Office did a pretty fine job. But if we want to align ourselves to the world, if we want to counter China, if we want to counter adversaries, it is important to bring the military into our negotiating power, if I may say, the entire power profile of how India negotiates diplomatically. Military diplomacy is something new to India. It was never practiced in India before, but it started now under the Modi regime. And now it's picking up with a vengeance. What does military bring to the table when we talk about diplomacy? Today I'm going to be extremely candid and frank. My friends, what the military brings to the table is fear. And fear is an excellent weapon when you want to negotiate with either a friend or an adversary. It is said, Bhai bin hoy na preet, which means that there is no friendship without fear. I've said it in the past and I'll say it again. When the Prime Minister of India negotiates with another power, the head of state of the other country must know that somewhere behind in the oceans lurks INS Arihant, a nuclear submarine. The ability to tell the other nation that we have the capability or the capability to inform, communicate to the other nation that while we have friendly intentions, but if things go from bad to us, we have the capability of visiting violence at your doorstep. This is a capability that India seeks. For too long, we have depended on just yoga. We have depended on the magic of our herbal medicine, of Ayurveda. We have depended on the legends of the Kama Sutra. We have depended on Indian food, Indian music. We have depended on Bollywood. And these have stood us in good stead over a period of years. But today, it is time. In this new century, it is time for India to project hard power. And what I'm going to tell you, the weapon systems that I'm going to discuss are about projection of that hard power. So, why do we need weapons? Why is India arming itself at such a rapid pace? Much of our legacy equipment, almost 60-65% of it, is of Soviet/Russian origin. Some of our helicopters are more than half a century old. The technology is half a century old. This equipment, while it is good for day-to-day work, but operationally speaking, much of it is outdated. And the previous governments, and it is with a great degree of sadness that I say this, previous governments did not bother about modernizing the armed forces like they should. We are surrounded by two neighbors. It's not just about China to the north and China to the east. It's not just about Pakistan to the north and Pakistan to the west. That's not the problem. The problem is China to the north and China to the east, and China to the north and China to the west. Pakistan is nothing but a Chinese proxy. Pakistan itself has no military identity. It does what it's told by China. Today, China is funding Pakistan whether through CPEC, which is the flagship venture of the Belt and Road Initiative, or giving Pakistan loans that Pakistan cannot afford. But the fact of the matter is that the Chinese know very well that the Pakistanis cannot say no. So the Chinese use territory not just in Pakistan, but also in Myanmar and other countries neighboring India to send in forces inimical to India. And China has given full protection to Pakistan in this. There was a time when India wanted to blacklist Maulana Masood Azhar in the United Nations, and it was China that was blocking this initiative by India. Why would China block India's attempt to blacklist a terrorist and blacklist a terrorist organization? Why would China even be remotely interested in a terrorist who's causing harm to India, a terrorist who is responsible for the Pulwama attacks? But China did that, not once, but time and again. So, again, why is India arming itself? Yes, India wants to become a global power. It's true that India has enemies on the east and on the west. But it's also true that India wants external projection of its military might, which is why India is looking at military bases abroad. Now, I have compiled a list of the weapon systems that India has already bought or is signed for and is bringing from outside or manufacturing inside India. The first one for the army is the AK-203. Now, the AK-203 is the latest in line of the Kalashnikov weapon systems. You're aware that the AK-47, the grandfather of all the AK series of weapons, was launched and shown to the world as part of the Russian forces, the Soviet forces in 1947, hence the name AK-47. AK-203, as I said, is the latest variant, and it is supposed to replace the 5.56 mm INSAS. Now, what is wrong with the INSAS? INSAS, the Indian Small Arms Systems 5.56, is a rifle that the Indian Armed Forces use. Why are they being replaced? They're being replaced because they're bad rifles. There is no other way to say it. The INSAS is a terrible rifle. Now, there will be many people who will not like this statement and say that no, it has stood us in good stead in Kargil. That's not true. We could have given our forces better weapons for Kargil. What won Kargil was the grit of the young Indian officer and the Indian Jawan. That is why we have Kargil Vijay Divas. It was certainly not because of the INSAS 5.56. Now, this rifle jams. This rifle cannot deliver a terminal blow to an adversary. If you shoot somebody at 300 yards, 400 yards with an INSAS, you can't be sure if a person is dead. This is a heavy, unwieldy weapon with a plastic magazine that tends to crack. Sometimes when you fire, you have oil coming out of the rifle into your eye, onto your face. This is a rifle which is accurate, and of that there is no doubt. But this rifle is not effective. I will tell you because I've used this rifle for a long time. When we were in the academy, we were not taught the INSAS. We were taught with the 7.62 mm SLR or the self-loading rifle. We later on came to the INSAS. In the YO course or the Young Officers course, which happens in Mau, which I attended in 1994, is the first time that I had a clear look at what the INSAS looks like. It looked very good because it was smaller than the SLR, better looking than the carbine. But then slowly we realized that it is not a rifle that will stand you in good stead operationally. The Indian Army has been crying hoarse about the need for replacing this rifle, and finally it is being replaced. They're setting up a factory somewhere in Amethi, and from there, with collaboration with the Kalashnikov concern, which is the company in Russia that manufactures the Kalashnikov, they're going to manufacture these AK-203 rifles and give it to the Army, Navy and Air Force. And maybe some paramilitary forces or CPOs like the BSF, CRPF, should they ask for it. But the fact of the matter is, why did we choose INSAS in the first place? Well, at that time, the thinking was that NATO uses 5.56 and so should we. So we started using 5.56. We also thought that rather than killing an enemy, the best way would be to wound the enemy. At least that was what was told to me when I was in the army. That wound the enemy, so rather than dying, you see, there are 3-4 people required to carry the enemy outside the battlefield and carry him to the hospital. An enemy who's alive and screaming and kicking and shouting in pain also lowers the morale of his own brothers, of his own comrades, And this was the thinking behind the 5.56. I'm sure there are many other things that were related to this, but this is what I personally know. Well, it didn't pan out so well. And many times in Kashmir, in the earlier years, it was realized that you shoot a terrorist, but with the 5.56, he does not stay dead. There have been cases in which terrorists have been shot and they have gotten up and moved away. It does not, as I said before, deliver a terminal blow. Hence, we went for the AK-203. AK-203 uses a 7.62 into 39 mm ammunition. And once you hit your enemy with an AK, he stays hit. You kill him, he stays dead. That is the point of an AK-47, and this is what the AK will deliver now. The second thing is the India-made Israeli Tavor X95. Now, already the CRPF and the BSF are using this rifle. It's a wonderful rifle. And this is something that the Israelis, this technology was shared by the Israelis and we're making it. This is a wonderful rifle that they use. The Indian Army, to the best of my knowledge, does not use this. The Indian Army uses the Tavor. And especially the special forces, the para commandos, the para SF, they use the Tavor. It has a bullpup design. A bullpup design essentially means that the magazine is behind the trigger. Normally you will see, especially in case of an AK-47, you will see that the magazine is ahead of the trigger. In a bullpup, the magazine is behind the trigger. So it makes for more accuracy and a more compact weapon system when you fire that weapon. So the India-made Israeli Tavor X95 rifle. Then radio tactical, we are using old legacy items for communication now. India is manufacturing DRDO with a lot of Indian companies. They are making the latest in-class radio equipment. We have the latest satellite imagery and satellite communication at our disposal. And from my time, when I was in the army, the communication system was pretty primitive. Now it's improved. For the last 10-15 years, it's improved by leaps and bounds. And especially lately, it's really come up very well. So this is something that we need to give to the army. The ability of the army to network itself, the ability to fight as a singular network. So everybody knows what is going on in that battlefield space. This system will help in that. Agni 5 missile that has been tested, Agni Prime also, which has the ability, they're calling it the intercontinental ballistic missile, has the ability to travel 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers. Some say maybe more. They say that the range of Agni is actually being hidden because it is confidential, it is secret. But Agni is something that has badly spooked China. I don't know why it has spooked Pakistan, because Agni has nothing to do with Pakistan. Pakistan we can deal with the Prithvi missile. Agni is more China specific. You know, some say it can reach Europe, but that is hardly what we want to do. We want to be able to touch Beijing, and Agni touches Beijing.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic live stream with you everywhere. Republic live stream, India's #1 streaming news.
This week, watch Checkmate to know why India is buying the latest arms and ammunitions. Why is India getting the latest defense technology from the world? Why is India arming itself at such a rapid rate? But I will tell you what I believe. I believe India has global ambitions. I believe India wants to be a global leader. When India says that it wants to become a Vishwaguru, it is not just talking about intellectual pursuit. It's not just talking about soft power. India is also talking about hard power.
The question this time very clearly, no answers from him. Our keys continue to be with his men. We faced intimidation here. We've been trying to get in touch with you and ask you several questions on the land deals that you had along with Priyanka Vadra and Robert Vadra. Why are you trying to avoid the camera?
Once again trying to get in a word with Mr. Vijay Mallya.
Persistently been asking you only one question. Mallya, why did you escape in 2015?
Michelle, first visuals on your scene. Christian, would you give facts to India?
Mr. Bhandari, just one question, sir.
Mr. Mallya, why are the questions bothering you when I'm not getting a single answer?
Police vans
we have the Arjun Mark 1. the Arjun Mark 1 Alpha, more than 100 tanks. The orders for more than 100 tanks were given, and the Arjun is a good tank. It's been in the making, in the process of improvement for a very, very long time. There were a lot of complaints against the Arjun at one point in time that it is too heavy. Many of the parts of Arjun are imported. I'm talking about 20 years back, 25, 30 years back. And I saw Arjun for the first time in 1994 in the Mahajan field firing ranges. I saw, there is a road in Mahajan field firing ranges. I wonder if the road is still there, but during my time it was called Arjun Path. And while driving down Arjun Path in an old Jonga, in an old RCL Jonga, Indian Army issue, that was the first time I saw the Arjun tank. It looked magnificent to me, because till then I had only seen T-72s, and then suddenly out comes the Arjun, and honestly speaking looks like a Ferrari in front of a T-72. So, but they had many complaints about the Arjun, and one complaint which stuck to my mind was that inter-theatre movement was very difficult because of the railway tracks, and the Arjun was too heavy and it was too wide and it could not cross certain bridges. I don't know the exact reason why it was rejected by the army, but now I believe some of the objections have been sorted out, and the ordnance factories are again manufacturing the Arjun, and the order for 100 plus odd Arjun tanks has been given, and this is good. It conforms to the government's ambition of Atmanirbhar Bharat, and we should be able to make world-class tanks for ourselves. A lot of people after the Ukraine war have been saying that, tank warfare is dead. That's not true, actually. That's not true. One war and we say this system is dead. One conflict and we say, oh, the rifle is outdated. One small conflict and we say that no, artillery is of no use and everything is going to be on the computer. All these are suppositions by people who assume the worst or the best in any scenario. I think the tank is still useful. It delivers the final punch in battle. When you have enemy infrastructure in front of you and you want to punch through it is only the tank that has the ability to punch through it. It is only the artillery, that can smash and pulverize the opposition, and the complete infrastructure of the enemy is only the infantry that can hold ground. So I think these will remain relevant. However, this is how it is, and how can we forget the M777? The M777 is a howitzer, is a 155 mm gun, which is, I will not say it is replacing the Bofors, but in many places it can be lifted by a Chinook helicopter. It can be taken in high altitude areas. It is light, it is effective, it is one of the best medium guns in the business today. The Bofors is equally good, and one of the reasons why India performed so well in the Kargil war is because of Bofors. But in a few years, the Bofors technology is going to be half a century old. Bofors was bought in the mid-80s, if I'm not mistaken, and it's already 35 years, 40 years plus. And this technology in a few years is going to be almost half a century old. So it's high time we got new systems. This is not to take away anything from Bofors. I think it's a crack shot of a system. I think it's a crack shot of a gun. And I have seen Bofors firing in front of me. I was in Devlali and I saw Bofors firing, extremely accurate, excellent. But the fact of the matter is that there are better weapon systems available today, and M777 is the best of the best. We have the Agni 5 missile that has been tested, Agni Prime also, which has the ability, they're calling it the intercontinental ballistic missile, has the ability to travel 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers. Some say maybe more. They say that the range of Agni is actually being hidden because it is confidential, it is secret. But Agni is something that has badly spooked China. I don't know why it has spooked Pakistan, because Agni has nothing to do with Pakistan. Pakistan we can deal with a Prithvi missile. Agni is more China specific. Some say it can reach Europe, but that is hardly what we want to do. We want to be able to touch Beijing, and Agni touches Beijing. We have the Pinaka rocket systems. I'm sure you've seen in army field firing videos that you often see on social media or on television, multi-barrel rocket launchers. Now, Pinaka essentially is a Sanskrit word which means the bow of Lord Shiva. This is an indigenous system that has been designed by the DRDO and manufactured in India. And the Pinaka rockets have various ranges, and they say that 60 kilometers, even 80 kilometers the Pinaka can reach. And the Pinaka is a deadly system. It can saturate with fire an area of 800 meters into 800 meters, or 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, and turn that area into ash. This is what the Pinaka does, and the Pinaka is being inducted into the Indian Army at a furious and a rapid pace. About the Indian Air Force, we all know about the Rafale. We know why it's important. Actually, the Indian Air Force is supposed to have 42 squadrons. If we have to deal with China and Pakistan, we need 42 squadrons. But unfortunately, because of various factors, because of the bureaucracy within the system, because of our own faults maybe, we are down to 28/30 squadrons. And if there is war on two fronts, if there is a two-front war, we will be hard-pressed to use the Indian Air Force to the best of their capability. It's a wonderful organization, and the Indian Air Force has amongst the best pilots in the world. But what good are pilots if they don't have planes? And this is something that the country needs to do. So 36 Rafales, and also getting more light combat aircraft in terms of Tejas. Now, apart from the Rafale, there is the MMRCA, the medium multi-role combat aircraft. I think 126 were supposed to be ordered, and there was Gripen, which was Gripen, and there were a series of MiGs that were in contention. The F series of the American aircrafts also pitched in. There was the Eurofighter, the Rafale. Now everybody wants a piece of this. It's possibly more than $20 billion US, one of the largest defense contracts that any country will ever give. India wants this to be manufactured in India, and rightly so. It is aligned to Atmanirbhar Bharat. It will mean transfer of technology. So these 126 aircraft, I have already spoken about how we are getting more Tejas. Tejas is being accepted in quite a lot of countries, and quite a lot of countries have shown interest in buying the Tejas. Then you have the AMCA, the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, to build a 5th generation stealth jet. This is also in the works. It'll take a lot of time, frankly, because all aircraft planning and manufacturing and research and development takes a lot of time. It is not something that even a battle rifle takes a lot of time, but this is an aircraft with the latest software and the latest hardware. So this is expected to take a lot of time, but it will happen. And India has finally got its act together, and it says that we will manufacture a stealth 5th generation aircraft. Long range guided bombs, 500 kg class precision bombs. These are also something that India is manufacturing. And advanced shaft technology. Shaft is something that, when you have a heat seeking missile or an anti-aircraft missile, you press a button, the pilot presses a button, the shaft comes out of the aircraft, and the missile is, it is sort of diverted, it is confused. My pilot friends from the Indian Air Force and the Indian Navy must be laughing, because I am from the Army and I don't understand this technology very well, but this is a layman's explanation for you. And coming to the Indian Navy, INS Vela you've heard of. INS Vela is there, and then we have INS Vikrant, which is about to be launched this very month. The INS Vikrant will be operational. People are talking about INS Virat, a 3rd aircraft carrier, but I'm not sure. I've heard rumors, but I'm not sure. I've read 1 or 2 articles, but nothing substantial that I can bring to the table today and tell you that yes, this is being done. But as far as INS Vikrant is concerned, INS Vikrant is going to be launched in August 2022. A magnificent aircraft made in India. AK-203 is something that the Navy is very keen on, and they're getting, like we're getting AK-203 in the Army, the Navy people are getting AK-103, again an excellent weapon system. Then we have the 15 Bravo class INS Vishakhapatnam, another destroyer which is coming in. This is something that the Navy was very keen on. It's finally there. Talwar class frigates, or Project 11356. The Navy has very complicated names for its projects. Project 11356. And then there is the naval anti-drone system. Apart from this, there are a lot of drones, swarm drones that the Army, Navy and Air Force are getting into. A lot of systems like the Guardian or the Reaper, armed drones. India is again buying the Heron armed drones from Israel, and many of these systems are coming in. So we have briefly touched upon, and this is by no means a comprehensive list, because we would require another program or maybe 2 programs just to discuss all the weapon systems that India is buying. But from the Navy, I can tell you that 34 ships are being made in India. 34 ships are being made in India. This was told to me by a senior serving naval officer 2 years back. So many of the ships are going to be delivered shortly. I've already mentioned the aircraft carrier. And again, to reiterate, why is India doing this? India is doing this because India has global ambitions. India is surrounded by 2 nuclear armed neighbors with which it has fought wars. India needs to protect its interests. And in today's world, it is no longer, there was time when there was only America and USSR. With the fall of the USSR, then there was only America. For a very long time, America was the sole superpower. Later on, what happened was you had America and China, especially in the last 20 years, we saw the rise of China. Now, I think we are moving to a multipolar world. We are moving to a world where there are no fixed power centers, it's up for grabs. And India is a superpower in the making. India is an economic superpower and a military superpower in the making. And India has a lot of goodwill. You go to Afghanistan, you go to Sri Lanka, you go to so many countries. Ask the common people there. Forget about the government. I'm not talking about the government. The common people love India. And that is India's true power. Backed with these weapons, backed with an A-grade, professionally led armed force. There is no stopping India. Thank you for watching Checkmate. Have a great weekend. I'll see you around next week. Jai Hind.
He heard the question this time very clearly. No answers from him. Our keys continue to be with his men. We faced intimidation here. We've been trying to get in touch with you and ask you several questions on the land deals that you had along with Priyanka Vadra and Robert Vadra. Why are you trying to avoid the cameras?
Once again trying to get in a word with Mr. Vijay Mallya.
Persistently been asking you only one question. Mallya, why did you escape in 2015?
That is Christian Michel. First visuals on your scene. Christian, would you give facts to India?
Mr. Bhandari, just one question, sir.
Mr. Mallya, why are the questions bothering you when I'm not getting a single answer?
Police vans have also come in right now just to give the security to the BJP legislators right now as they are staying here for a while before the government formation actually takes place. About 17 locations where these searches are being carried out. In all likelihood, the number is going to go up. There could be some arrests. Total of 8 CCTV footages that have been accessed. This encapsulates Kole's murder that has taken place.
Of Flight Lieutenant Aditya Bal has arrived at his native residence. People, their thousands in number, have arrived here to pay last tribute to this brave heart that has laid down his life.
Early morning ED action in Mumbai. Sanjay Raut now raided. ED action intensifies. Raids at Raut's Bhandup residence. Fresh trouble for Sanjay Raut. ED hot chase gets hotter. Sanjay Raut likely to be taken to ED office. India's medal tally goes up at Commonwealth Games 2022. India bags 4 medals. Bindya Rani ups India's medal tally in Birmingham, lifts another silver for India. You're watching those visuals there. Breaking news coming in the Bengal cash scam. Arpita and Partho are being taken for medical checkup at the ESI hospital in the Bengal. In latest updates in the Bengal cash scam, main accused Partho and Arpita taken for medical to the ESI hospital.
बहुत खास है। इसका कारण है इस बार का स्वतंत्रता दिवस, जब भारत अपनी आजादी के 75 वर्ष पूरे करेगा। हम सभी बहुत अद्भुत और ऐतिहासिक पल के गवाह बनने जा रहे हैं। ईश्वर ने यह हमें बहुत बड़ा सौभाग्य दिया है। आप भी सोचिए, अगर हम गुलामी के दौर में पैदा हुए होते तो इस दिन की कल्पना हमारे लिए कैसी होती। गुलामी से मुक्ति की वो तड़प, पराधीनता की बेड़ियों से आजादी की वो बेचैनी कितनी बड़ी रही होगी। वो दिन जब हम हर दिन लाखों लाख देशवासियों को आजादी के लिए लड़ते, जूझते, बलिदान देते देख रहे होते, जब हम हर सुबह इस सपने के साथ जग रहे होते कि मेरा हिंदुस्तान कब आजाद होगा। और हो सकता है हमारे जीवन में वो भी दिन आता जब वंदे मातरम और भारत मां की जय बोलते हुए हम आने वाली पीढ़ियों के लिए अपना जीवन समर्पित कर देते, जवानी खपा देते। साथियों, 31 जुलाई यानी आज ही के दिन हम सभी देशवासी शहीद उधम सिंह जी की शहादत को नमन करते हैं। मैं से अन्य सभी महान क्रांतिकारियों को अपनी विनम्र श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं, जिन्होंने देश के लिए अपना सर्वस्व न्योछावर कर दिया। साथियों, मुझे देखकर बहुत खुशी होती है कि आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव एक जन आंदोलन का रूप ले रहा है। सभी क्षेत्रों और समाज के हर वर्ग के लोग इससे जुड़े अलग अलग कार्यक्रमों में हिस्सा ले रहे हैं। ऐसे ही एक कार्यक्रम इस महीने की शुरुआत में मेघालय में हुआ। मेघालय के बहादुर योद्धा यू टिरोत सिंह जी की पुण्यतिथि पर लोगों ने उन्हें याद किया। टिरोत सिंह जी ने खासी हिल्स पर नियंत्रण करने और वहां की संस्कृति पर प्रहार करने की अंग्रेजों की साजिश का जमकर विरोध किया था। इस कार्यक्रम में बहुत सारे कलाकारों ने सुंदर प्रस्तुतियां दी, इतिहास को जिंदा कर दिया। इसमें एक कार्निवल का आयोजन भी किया गया, जिसमें मेघालय की महान संस्कृति को बड़े ही खूबसूरत तरीके से दर्शाया गया। अब से कुछ हफ्ते पहले कर्नाटका में अमृता भारती कन्नडार्थी नाम का एक अनूठा अभियान भी चलाया गया। इसमें राज्य की 75 जगहों पर आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव से जुड़े बड़े भव्य कार्यक्रम आयोजित किए गए। इनमें कर्नाटका के महान स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों को याद करने के साथ ही स्थानीय साहित्यिक उपलब्धियों को भी सामने लाने की कोशिश की गई। साथियों, इसी जुलाई में एक बहुत ही रोचक प्रयास हुआ है, जिसका नाम है आजादी की रेलगाड़ी और रेलवे स्टेशन। इस प्रयास का लक्ष्य है कि लोग आजादी की लड़ाई में भारतीय रेल की भूमिका को जानें। देश में अनेक ऐसे रेलवे स्टेशन हैं जो स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन के इतिहास से जुड़े हैं। आप भी इन रेलवे स्टेशनों के बारे में जानकर हैरान होंगे। झारखंड के गोमो जंक्शन को अब आधिकारिक रूप से नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस जंक्शन गोमो के नाम से जाना जाता है। जानते हैं क्यों? दरअसल इसी स्टेशन पर कालका मेल में सवार होकर नेताजी सुभाष ब्रिटिश अफसरों को चकमा देने में सफल रहे थे। आप सभी ने लखनऊ के पास काकोरी रेलवे स्टेशन का नाम भी जरूर सुना होगा। इस स्टेशन के साथ राम प्रसाद बिस्मिल और अशफाक उल्लाह खान जैसे जाबाजों का नाम जुड़ा है। यहां ट्रेन से जा रहे अंग्रेजों के खजाने को लूटकर वीर क्रांतिकारियों ने अंग्रेजों को अपनी ताकत का परिचय करा दिया था। आप जब कभी तमिलनाडु के लोगों से बात करेंगे तो आपको थूथुकुडी जिले के वांची मणियाच्ची जंक्शन के बारे में जानने को मिलेगा। ये स्टेशन तमिल स्वतंत्रता सेनानी वांची नाथन जी के नाम पर है। ये वही स्थान है जहां 25 साल के युवा वांची ने ब्रिटिश कलेक्टर को उसके किए की सजा दी थी। साथियों, ये लिस्ट काफी लंबी है। देश भर के 24 राज्यों में फैले ऐसे 75 रेलवे स्टेशनों की पहचान की गई है। इन 75 स्टेशन को बहुत ही खूबसूरती से सजाया जा रहा है। इनमें कई तरह के कार्यक्रमों का भी आयोजन हो रहा है। आपको भी समय निकालकर अपने पास के ऐसे ऐतिहासिक स्टेशन पर जरूर जाना चाहिए। आपको स्वतंत्रता आंदोलन के ऐसे इतिहास के बारे में विस्तार से पता चलेगा जिनसे आप अनजान रहे हैं। मैं आसपास के स्कूल के विद्यार्थियों से आग्रह करूंगा, टीचर से आग्रह करूंगा कि अपने स्कूल के छोटे छोटे बच्चों को लेकर के जरूर स्टेशन पे जाएं और पूरा घटनाक्रम उन बच्चों को सुनाएं, समझाएं। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के तहत 13 से 15 अगस्त तक एक स्पेशल मूवमेंट हर घर तिरंगा का आयोजन किया जा रहा है। इस मूवमेंट का हिस्सा बनकर 13 से 15 अगस्त तक आप अपने घर पर तिरंगा जरूर फहराएं या उसे अपने घर पर लगाएं। तिरंगा हमें जोड़ता है, हमें देश के लिए कुछ करने के लिए प्रेरित करता है। मेरा एक सुझाव ये भी है कि 2 अगस्त से 15 अगस्त तक हम सभी अपनी सोशल मीडिया प्रोफाइल पिक्चर में तिरंगा लगा सकते हैं। वैसे क्या आप जानते हैं 2 अगस्त का हमारे तिरंगे से एक विशेष संबंध भी है। इसी दिन पिंगली वेंकैया जी की जन्म जयंती होती है, जिन्होंने हमारे राष्ट्रीय ध्वज को डिजाइन किया था। मैं उन्हें आदरपूर्वक श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करता हूं। अपने राष्ट्रीय ध्वज के बारे में बात करते हुए मैं महान क्रांतिकारी मैडम कामा को भी याद करूंगा। तिरंगे को आकार देने में उनकी भूमिका बेहद महत्वपूर्ण रही है। साथियों, आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव में हो रहे इन सारे आयोजनों का सबसे बड़ा संदेश यही है कि हम सभी देशवासी अपने कर्तव्य का पूरी निष्ठा से पालन करें। तभी हम उन अनगिनत स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों का सपना पूरा कर पाएंगे, उनके सपनों का भारत बना पाएंगे। इसलिए हमारे अगले 25 साल का यह अमृतकाल हर देशवासी के लिए कर्तव्य काल की तरह है। देश को आजाद कराने हमारे वीर सेनानी हमें ये जिम्मेदारी देकर गए हैं और हमें इसे पूरी तरह निभाना है। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, कोरोना के खिलाफ हम देशवासियों की लड़ाई अब भी जारी है। पूरी दुनिया आज भी जूझ रही है। होलिस्टिक हेल्थ केयर में लोगों की बढ़ती रुचि ने इसमें सभी की बहुत मदद की है। हम सभी जानते हैं कि इसमें भारतीय पारंपरिक पद्धतियां कितनी उपयोगी हैं। कोरोना के खिलाफ लड़ाई में आयुष ने तो वैश्विक स्तर पर अहम भूमिका निभाई है। दुनिया भर में आयुर्वेद और भारतीय औषधियों के प्रति आकर्षण बढ़ रहा है। ये एक बड़ी वजह है कि आयुष एक्सपोर्ट में रिकॉर्ड तेजी आई है और ये भी बहुत सुखद है कि इस क्षेत्र में कई नए स्टार्टअप्स भी सामने आ रहे हैं। हाल ही में एक ग्लोबल आयुष इन्वेस्टमेंट और इनोवेशन समिट हुई थी। आप जानकर हैरान होंगे कि इसमें करीब 10,000 करोड़ रुपए के इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रपोजल्स मिले हैं। एक और बड़ी अहम बात यह हुई है कि कोरोना काल में औषधीय पौधों पर रिसर्च में भी बहुत वृद्धि हुई है। इस बारे में बहुत सी रिसर्च स्टडीज पब्लिश हो रही हैं। निश्चित रूप से एक अच्छी शुरुआत है। साथियों, देश में विभिन्न प्रकार के औषधीय पौधों और जड़ी बूटियों को लेकर एक और बेहतरीन प्रयास हुआ है। अभी अभी जुलाई महीने में इंडियन वर्चुअल हर्बेरियम को लॉन्च किया गया। यह इस बात का भी उदाहरण है कि कैसे हम डिजिटल वर्ल्ड का इस्तेमाल अपनी जड़ों से जुड़ने में कर सकते हैं। इंडियन वर्चुअल हर्बेरियम प्रिजर्व प्लांट्स या प्लांट पार्ट्स की डिजिटल इमेजेस का एक रोचक संग्रह है जो कि वेब पर फ्रीली अवेलेबल है। इस वर्चुअल हर्बेरियम पर अभी 1 लाख से अधिक स्पेसिमेंस और उनसे जुड़ी साइंटिफिक इंफॉर्मेशन उपलब्ध है। वर्चुअल हर्बेरियम में भारत की बॉटनिकल डायवर्सिटी की समृद्ध तस्वीर भी दिखाई देती है। मुझे विश्वास है इंडियन वर्चुअल हर्बेरियम भारतीय वनस्पतियों पर रिसर्च के लिए एक इंपॉर्टेंट रिसोर्स बनेगा। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, मन की बात में हम हर बार देशवासियों की ऐसी सफलताओं की चर्चा करते हैं जो हमारे चेहरे पर मीठी मुस्कान बिखेर देती हैं। अगर कोई सक्सेस स्टोरी मीठी मुस्कान भी बिखेरे और स्वाद में भी मिठास भरे, तब तो आप इसे जरूर सोने पर सुहागा कहेंगे। हमारे किसान इन दिनों शहद के उत्पादन में ऐसा ही कमाल कर रहे हैं। शहद की मिठास हमारे किसानों का जीवन भी बदल रही है, उनकी आय भी बढ़ा रही है। हरियाणा में यमुनानगर में एक मधुमक्खी पालक साथी रहते हैं, सुभाष कंबोज जी। सुभाष जी ने वैज्ञानिक तरीके से मधुमक्खी पालन का प्रशिक्षण लिया। इसके बाद उन्होंने केवल 6 बॉक्स के साथ अपना काम शुरू किया था। आज वो करीब 2000 बॉक्सेस में मधुमक्खी पालन कर रहे हैं। उनका शहद कई राज्यों में सप्लाई होता है। जम्मू के पल्ली गांव में विनोद कुमार जी भी 1500 से ज्यादा कॉलोनियों में मधुमक्खी पालन कर रहे हैं। उन्होंने पिछले साल रानी मक्खी पालन का प्रशिक्षण लिया है। इस काम से वो सालाना 15 से 20 लाख रुपए कमा रहे हैं। कर्नाटका के एक और किसान है मधुकेश्वर हेगड़े जी। मधुकेश्वर जी ने बताया कि उन्होंने भारत सरकार से 50 मधुमक्खी कॉलोनियों के लिए सब्सिडी ली थी। आज उनके पास 800 से ज्यादा कॉलोनियां हैं और वो कई टन शहद बेचते हैं। उन्होंने अपने काम में इनोवेशन किया और वो जामुन शहद, तुलसी शहद, आंवला शहद जैसे वानस्पतिक शहद भी बना रहे हैं। मधुकेश्वर जी, मधु उत्पादन में आपके इनोवेशन और सफलता आपके नाम को भी सार्थक करती है। साथियों, आप सब जानते हैं कि शहद को हमारे पारंपरिक स्वास्थ्य विज्ञान में कितना महत्व दिया गया है। आयुर्वेद ग्रंथों में तो शहद को अमृत बताया गया है। शहद न केवल हमें स्वाद देता है बल्कि आरोग्य भी देता है। शहद उत्पादन में आज इतनी अधिक संभावनाएं हैं कि प्रोफेशनल पढ़ाई करने वाले युवा भी इसे अपना स्वरोजगार बना रहे हैं। ऐसे ही एक युवा है यूपी में गोरखपुर के निमित सिंह। निमित जी ने बीटेक किया है। उनके पिता भी डॉक्टर हैं, लेकिन पढ़ाई के बाद नौकरी की जगह निमित जी ने स्वरोजगार का फैसला लिया। उन्होंने शहद उत्पादन का काम शुरू किया। क्वालिटी चेक के लिए लखनऊ में अपनी एक लैब भी बनवाई। निमित जी अब शहद और बी वैक्स से अच्छी कमाई कर रहे हैं और अलग अलग राज्यों में जाकर किसानों को प्रशिक्षित भी कर रहे हैं। ऐसे युवाओं की मेहनत से ही आज देश इतना बड़ा शहद उत्पादक बन रहा है। आपको जानकर खुशी होगी कि देश से शहद का निर्यात भी बढ़ गया है। देश ने नेशनल बी कीपिंग एंड हनी मिशन जैसे अभियान चलाए। किसानों ने पूरा परिश्रम किया और हमारे शहद की मिठास दुनिया तक पहुंचने लगी। अभी इस क्षेत्र में और भी बड़ी संभावनाएं मौजूद है। मैं चाहूंगा कि हमारे युवा इन अवसरों से जुड़कर उनका लाभ लें और नई संभावनाओं को साकार करें। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, मुझे हिमाचल प्रदेश से मन की बात के एक श्रोता श्रीमान आशीष बहल जी का एक पत्र मिला है। उन्होंने अपने पत्र में चंबा के मिंजर मेले का जिक्र किया है। दरअसल मिंजर मक्के के फूलों को कहते हैं। जब मक्के में मिंजर आते हैं तो मिंजर मेला भी मनाया जाता है और इस मेले में देश भर के पर्यटक दूर दूर से हिस्सा लेने के लिए आते हैं। संयोग से मिंजर मेला इस समय चल भी रहा है। आप अगर हिमाचल घूमने गए हुए हैं तो इस मेले को देखने चंबा जा सकते हैं। चंबा तो इतना खूबसूरत है कि यहां के लोक गीतों में बार बार कहा जाता है, चंबे एक दिन ओना कने महीना रहना। यानी जो लोग एक दिन के लिए चंबा आते हैं वे इसकी खूबसूरती देखकर महीने भर यहां रह जाते हैं। साथियों, हमारे देश में मेलों का भी बड़ा सांस्कृतिक महत्व रहा है। मेले जन मन दोनों को जोड़ते हैं। हिमाचल में वर्षा के बाद जब खरीफ की फसलें पकती हैं तब सितंबर में शिमला, मंडी, कुल्लू और सोलन में सैरी या शहर भी मनाया जाता है। सितंबर में ही जागरा भी आने वाला है। जागरा के मेलों में महासु देवता का आह्वान करके बीसू गीत गाए जाते हैं। महासु देवता का ये जागर हिमाचल में शिमला, किन्नौर और सिरमौर के साथ साथ उत्तराखंड में भी होता है। साथियों, हमारे देश में अलग अलग राज्यों में आदिवासी समाज के भी कई पारंपरिक मेले होते हैं। इनमें से कुछ मेले आदिवासी संस्कृति से जुड़े हैं तो कुछ का आयोजन आदिवासी इतिहास और विरासत से जुड़ा है। जैसे कि आपको अगर मौका मिले तो तेलंगाना के मेडारम का 4 दिवसीय समक्का सरलम्मा जात्रा मेला देखने जरूर जाइए। इस मेले को तेलंगाना का महाकुंभ कहा जाता है। सरलम्मा जात्रा मेला 2 आदिवासी महिला नायिकाओं समक्का और सरलम्मा के सम्मान में मनाया जाता है। ये तेलंगाना ही नहीं बल्कि छत्तीसगढ़, महाराष्ट्र और आंध्र प्रदेश के कोया आदिवासी समुदाय के लिए आस्था का बड़ा केंद्र है। आंध्र प्रदेश में मारीदम्मा का मेला भी आदिवासी समाज की मान्यताओं से जुड़ा बड़ा मेला है। मारीदम्मा मेला ज्येष्ठ अमावस्या से आषाढ़ अमावस्या तक चलता है और यहाँ का आदिवासी समाज इसे शक्ति उपासना के साथ जोड़ता है। यहीं पूर्वी गोदावरी के पेद्दापुरम में मरीदम्मा मंदिर भी है। इसी तरह राजस्थान में गरासिया जनजाति के लोग वैशाख शुक्ल चतुर्दशी को सियावा का मेला या मनखारो मेला का आयोजन करते हैं। छत्तीसगढ़ में बस्तर के नारायणपुर का मावली मेला भी बहुत खास होता है। पास ही मध्य प्रदेश का भगोरिया मेला भी खूब प्रसिद्ध है। कहते हैं कि भगोरिया मेले की शुरुआत राजा भोज के समय में हुई है। तब भील राजा कासूमरा और बालून ने अपनी अपनी राजधानी में पहली बार ये आयोजन किए थे। तब से आज तक ये मेले उतने ही उत्साह से मनाए जा रहे हैं। इसी तरह गुजरात में तरणेतर और माधवपुर जैसे कई मेले बहुत मशहूर है। मेले अपने आप में हमारे समाज जीवन की ऊर्जा का बहुत बड़ा स्रोत होते हैं। आपके आसपास भी ऐसे ही कई मेले होते होंगे। आधुनिक समय में समाज की पुरानी कड़ियां एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत की भावना को मजबूत करने के लिए बहुत जरूरी है। हमारे युवाओं को इनसे जरूर जुड़ना चाहिए। और आप जब भी ऐसे मेलों में जाएं, वहां की तस्वीरें सोशल मीडिया पर भी शेयर करें। आप चाहें तो किसी खास हैशटैग का भी इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। इससे उन मेलों के बारे में दूसरे लोग भी जानेंगे। आप कल्चर मिनिस्ट्री की वेबसाइट पर भी तस्वीरें अपलोड कर सकते हैं। अगले कुछ दिन में कल्चर मिनिस्ट्री एक कंपटीशन भी शुरू करने जा रही है, जहां मेलों की सबसे अच्छी तस्वीरें भेजने वालों को इनाम भी दिया जाएगा। तो फिर देर नहीं कीजिए, मेलों में घूमिए, उनकी तस्वीरें साझा करिए और हो सकता है आपको इसका इनाम भी मिल जाए। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, आपको ध्यान होगा मन की बात के एक एपिसोड में मैंने कहा था कि भारत के पास टॉयज एक्सपोर्ट्स में पावर हाउस बनने की पूरी क्षमता है। मैंने स्पोर्ट्स और गेम्स में भारत की समृद्ध विरासत की खास तौर पर चर्चा की थी। भारत के स्थानीय खिलौने परंपरा और प्रकृति दोनों के अनुरूप होते हैं, इको फ्रेंडली होते हैं। मैं आज आपके साथ भारतीय खिलौनों की सफलता को शेयर करना चाहता हूं। हमारे यंगस्टर्स, स्टार्टअप्स और एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के बूते हमारी टॉय इंडस्ट्री ने जो कर दिखाया है, जो सफलताएं हासिल की है, उसकी किसी ने कल्पना भी नहीं की होगी। आज जब भारतीय खिलौनों की बात होती है तो हर तरफ वोकल फॉर लोकल की ही गूंज सुनाई दे रही है। आपको ये जानकर भी अच्छा लगेगा कि भारत में अब विदेश से आने वाले खिलौनों की संख्या लगातार कम हो रही है। पहले जहां 3,000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा के खिलौने बाहर से आते थे, वहीं अब इनका आयात 70% तक घट गया है। और खुशी की बात यह कि इसी दौरान भारत ने 2,600 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक के खिलौनों को विदेशों में निर्यात किया है, जबकि पहले 300-400 करोड़ रुपए के खिलौने ही भारत से बाहर जाते थे। और आप तो जानते ही हैं कि ये सब कोरोना काल में हुआ है। भारत के टॉय सेक्टर ने खुद को ट्रांसफॉर्म करके दिखा दिया है। इंडियन मैन्युफैक्चरर्स अब इंडियन माइथोलॉजी, हिस्ट्री और कल्चर पर आधारित खिलौने बना रहे हैं। देश में जगह जगह खिलौने के जो क्लस्टर्स हैं, खिलौने बनाने वाले जो छोटे छोटे उद्यमी हैं, उन्हें इसका बहुत लाभ हो रहा है। इन छोटे उद्यमियों के बनाए खिलौने अब दुनिया भर में जा रहे हैं। भारत के खिलौना निर्माता विश्व के प्रमुख ग्लोबल टॉय ब्रांड्स के साथ मिलकर भी काम कर रहे हैं। मुझे ये भी बड़ा अच्छा लगा कि हमारा स्टार्टअप सेक्टर भी खिलौनों की दुनिया पर पूरा ध्यान दे रहा है। वे इस क्षेत्र में कई मजेदार चीजें भी कर रहे हैं। बेंगलुरु में शूमी टॉय नाम का स्टार्टअप इको फ्रेंडली खिलौनों पर फोकस कर रहा है। गुजरात में आर्किड जू कंपनी एआर बेस्ड फ्लैश कार्ड्स और एआर बेस्ड स्टोरी बुक्स बना रही है। पुणे की कंपनी फनवेंशन लर्निंग खिलौने और एक्टिविटी पजल्स के जरिए साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी और मैथ्स में बच्चों की दिलचस्पी बढ़ाने में जुटी है। मैं खिलौनों की दुनिया में शानदार काम कर रहे ऐसे सभी मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को, स्टार्टअप्स को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। आइए हम सब मिलकर भारतीय खिलौनों को दुनिया भर में और अधिक लोकप्रिय बनाएं। इसके साथ ही मैं अभिभावकों से भी आग्रह करना चाहूंगा कि वे अधिक से अधिक भारतीय खिलौने, पजल्स और गेम्स खरीदें। साथियों, क्लासरूम हो या खेल का मैदान, आज हमारे युवा हर क्षेत्र में देश को गौरवान्वित कर रहे हैं। इसी महीने पीवी सिंधु ने सिंगापुर ओपन का अपना पहला खिताब जीता है। नीरज चोपड़ा ने भी अपने बेहतरीन प्रदर्शन को जारी रखते हुए वर्ल्ड एथलेटिक चैंपियनशिप में देश के लिए सिल्वर मेडल जीता है। आयरलैंड पैरा बैडमिंटन इंटरनेशनल में भी हमारे खिलाड़ियों ने 11 पदक जीतकर देश का मान बढ़ाया है। रोम में हुए वर्ल्ड कैडेट रेसलिंग चैंपियनशिप में भी भारतीय खिलाड़ियों ने बेहतरीन प्रदर्शन किया। हमारे एथलीट सूरज ने तो ग्रेको रोमन इवेंट में कमाल ही कर दिया। उन्होंने 32 साल के लंबे अंतराल के बाद इस इवेंट में रेसलिंग का गोल्ड मेडल जीता है। खिलाड़ियों के लिए तो यह पूरा महीना ही एक्शन से भरपूर रहा है। चेन्नई में 44वें चेस ओलंपियाड की मेजबानी करना भी भारत के लिए बड़े ही सम्मान की बात है। 28 जुलाई को ही इस टूर्नामेंट का शुभारंभ हुआ है और मुझे इसकी ओपनिंग सेरेमनी में शामिल होने का सौभाग्य मिला। उसी दिन यूके में कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स की भी शुरुआत हुई। युवा जोश से भरा भारतीय दल वहां देश को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है। मैं सभी खिलाड़ियों और एथलीट्स को देशवासियों की ओर से शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। मुझे इस बात की भी खुशी है कि भारत फीफा अंडर 17 विमेन्स वर्ल्ड कप उसकी भी मेजबानी करने जा रहा है। यह टूर्नामेंट अक्टूबर के आसपास होगा, जो खेलों के प्रति देश की बेटियों का उत्साह बढ़ाएगा। साथियों, कुछ दिन पहले ही देश भर में 10वीं और 12वीं कक्षा के परिणाम भी घोषित हुए हैं। मैं उन सभी स्टूडेंट्स को बधाई देता हूं जिन्होंने अपने कठिन परिश्रम और लगन से सफलता अर्जित की है। महामारी के चलते पिछले 2 साल बेहद चुनौतीपूर्ण रहे हैं। इन परिस्थितियों में भी हमारे युवाओं ने जिस साहस और संयम का परिचय दिया वह अत्यंत सराहनीय है। मैं सभी के सुनहरे भविष्य की कामना करता हूं। मेरे प्यारे देशवासियों, आज हमने आजादी के 75 साल पर देश की यात्रा के साथ अपनी चर्चा शुरू की थी। अगली बार जब हम मिलेंगे तब हमारे अगले 25 साल की यात्रा भी शुरू हो चुकी होगी। अपने घर और अपनों के घर पर हमारा प्यारा तिरंगा फहरे, इसके लिए हम सबको जुटना है। आपने इस बार स्वतंत्रता दिवस को कैसे मनाया? क्या कुछ खास किया? ये भी मुझसे जरूर साझा करिएगा। अगली बार हम अपने इस अमृत पर्व के अलग अलग रंगों पर फिर से बात करेंगे। तब तक के लिए मुझे आज्ञा दीजिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
tracking the latest on the ED raids which are currently underway at Sanjay Raut's residence. So 12 ED officials, we are told, are currently at Raut's residence. So that is the latest coming in. We'll go across to Ankit as well, who's reporting live from outside Sanjay Raut's residence. As you can see, Sanjay Raut there waving to the people there, his supporters who are currently protesting outside his residence as ED continues to question and grill Raut in connection to the Patra Chawl scam. So raids at the residence of Sanjay Raut is what we understand, and protests also being staged outside his residence by his supporters. So huge drama there unfolding at Raut's Bhandup residence. In fact, more details that are now coming is that Sanjay Raut is likely to be taken to ED office for further questioning in connection to the Patra Chawl scam. So that is the latest coming in. Remember, this comes after Sanjay Raut had earlier skipped ED summons in connection to the Patra Chawl scam. We have Ankit reporting live from outside Sanjay Raut's residence. Ankit, we understand that that Sanjay Raut is likely to be taken to the ED office for further questioning. Give us the latest details that you're picking up.
Yes, that is the latest that we are picking up, that at some point it is not possible to speculate at this moment, but it is likely that he will be taken to the ED's office for further questioning. What we can tell you, Samiksha, is just a short while before, behind me you see the Shiv Sena protesters, supporters. He had come to that window over there, which my Vijay Samir is showing you, the first window on the first floor. He had appeared there for about 10 seconds. They had been chanting in support of him. He clearly heard them. He came out and he waved at them to give them a little more encouragement to protest on his behalf. We are also, of course, like you've been telling our viewers, we are in receipt of the 3 tweets that he has posted since these raids had begun early in the morning at about 7:30 a.m. The first one, he claimed that both Maharashtra and the Shiv Sena would continue to fight. The second one, he said that he swears on Balasaheb Thackeray's name that he is not involved in any scam. Of course, he didn't put out any specific details because the allegations are very specific, but he did claim his innocence. And in the third one also, he essentially said that no matter what happens, he would never leave the Shiv Sena. And I don't know if anyone had asked that question, but in any case, he has answered it that he is not quitting the Shiv Sena. Not that this is is the subject of the ED's interrogation of him at this moment. What we can tell you is now at about half an hour to go to noon. It's been 4.5, 5 hours of grilling that has gone on at the Maitri bungalow of Sanjay Raut, the 3-story bungalow, the building in white that we've been showing you a short while back. I'll ask my Vijay to show you again the building in which he stays. We are told that he lives himself. His personal apartments are on the top floor, but the entire complex is his, and he had appeared on the bottom floor when he had waved a short while earlier, just about 10 seconds. The case is to do with the 2007 agreement of the Patra Chawl's redevelopment. That is a slum area that is located in the Goregaon area of Mumbai. And the claim is that a company that was run by a person, Praveen Raut, who is linked to Sanjay Raut, had won the contract for that redevelopment. However, rather than handing over 672 flats to the occupants of the erstwhile slum, he sold the entire parcel of land to about 8 builders for 900 crore rupees. And then he received, despite not completing the deal, about 95 crore equity infusion from HDIL. And so that in total takes it to about 134 crore is what the figure being touted is. On top of that, there is a transaction payment of money that has gone from Praveen Raut's wife to Sanjay Raut's wife, and that was returned over 10 years later without any interest paid after the ED launched proceedings, and that was purportedly used to purchase a flat in Dadar. Now, the recent update is that about 11 crore worth of properties of a number of the people who we've named so far, linked to Sanjay Raut, linked to Praveen Raut, have been seized by the ED. They include a flat in Dadar. They include about 8 parcels of land in Alibag, which are in the name of Sanjay Raut's wife and another lady. And these are the claims that are currently being made by the agencies. Praveen Raut is under arrest at the moment since February, and since June and July, Sanjay Raut had been receiving summons. he had skipped at least 2 of the summons, the most recent of which was in July 27th, and now the ED has turned up at his residence. And from what we are told, like you're also informing us, our sources and Alisha are telling us that it is likely that after their searches here, he is likely to be taken to the Enforcement Directorate's office. And so that is what we are awaiting, perhaps at the moment. At this moment, the protests by the Shiv Sainiks continues. They've been chanting their slogans in support of Sanjay Raut and against the Modi government for a while now. The essential theme is that Sanjay Raut has somehow scared the government, and that is why they have propped the ED forward. But this is a case that goes back further before that. And also there are a number of cases that are against Sanjay Raut at the moment, and some of which he has not appeared for either, including, for instance, the Medha Kirit Somaiya defamation case. That is another one. And also there are different legal troubles that have mounted for him. And so certainly there was a feeling that he was living on borrowed time insofar as answering the ED was concerned. And today the ED is at his doorstep in his house right now. 12 officers, we are told, accompanied by a complement of security officers of various departments, including central departments, and also the Mumbai police, which is here in large numbers. And so this is the overall scene that we can present to you right now from Bhandup. It is a congested locality here. Not in general, but certainly this area is, and it took a couple of narrow winding streets to come here. And so when a short while back, when Sanjay Raut's advocate, he entered the premises, he was swamped essentially, he was unable to enter for some time.
Yes.
And then finally the car managed to bring him to the gate.
Yes, we are now getting more updates that after the raids at his Bhandup residence, raids are being conducted at his Dadar residence. So back-to-back ED raids there at the locations linked to Sanjay Raut. If you could give us more details. Also the big question arising that as even if Sanjay Raut has done no wrong, what is the harm in being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate, given the fact that that he has skipped ED summons in the past? We have Alisha as well joining us live. Alisha, give us more details. We understand that the raids are now being conducted at Sanjay Raut's Dadar residence as well.
Well, yes, Samiksha, we know that Enforcement Directorate has been looking and they've been searching not only at his Bhandup resident but also at his Dadar flat as well, because it is alleged that 83 lakh, which includes to the proceeds of crime, that was transferred to Sanjay Raut's wife Varsha Raut, and that was the money that was used to buy a flat in Dadar. We know that this already been attached. We know that many of the provision, specifically when it comes to 11.15 crore properties assets that has been attached, and one of this is the same property that has been attached in the month of April. But yet we can see in the visuals that there are ED officials who has already reached not only his to the in the Bhandup resident, but also at his Dadar resident as well.
Yes, Alisha, stay with us. We understand, like you're telling us, if you could help us understand how is the chain of questioning going to be like. We understand that his aide earlier was arrested. So if you could help us understand the connection with of his aide who has been arrested with Sanjay Raut, because what we understand is that one of the many allegations is that Sanjay Raut was in cahoots with his aide in this particular Patra Chaul scam case.
Well, Samiksha, let me put things into perspective, because this is something, an agreement that was made between Mahada and Guru Ashish Construction Private Limited. While talking, Pravin Raut, who was arrested in the month of February by Enforcement Directorate, who was the founder of this Guru Ashish Construction Private Limited, and they had a promise to the people of Patra Chaul that this building is something will go under the rehab construct, and there are around 672 tenants that is going to get a flat. But rather than giving it to the people there, most important, what we know that the floor space index has been given to us some private company which around for 901 crore is what we have been told. After which Mahada officials has registered an FIR with the Mumbai Police Economic Offence Wing, and as we know that this is something a money of 1,000 crore, because ED at this point of time is been probing for 1,034 crore scam, and this is where right after even Economic Offence Wing were looking into the matter, even Enforcement Directorate has filed an ECIR under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act and started the investigation. Well, yes, in the month of April, where around 11.15 crore property asset has already been seized, which also include some of the property of Varsha Raut, which were used alleged in this. There is a money trial which has come across between Sapna Patkar, Sujit Patkar, and also Madhuri Raut, and which has linked to the Varsha Raut. As we know that 83 lakh that was transferred to Sanjay Raut's wife Varsha Raut, and that property has something been made to buy a flat in Dadar. So Enforcement Directorate at this point of time is being conducting searches at Sanjay Raut, a resident in Bhandup and in Dadar as well. Minute-to-minute update only on Republic TV. We'll be back after a short break. Stay tuned.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic live stream with you everywhere. Republic live stream, India's #1 streaming news.
This week, watch Checkmate to know why India is buying the latest arms and ammunitions. Why is India getting the latest defense technology from the world? Why is India arming itself at such a rapid rate? But I will tell you what I believe. I believe India has global ambitions. I believe India wants to be a global leader. When India says that it wants to become a Vishwaguru, it is not just talking about intellectual pursuit. It's not just talking about soft power. India is also talking about hard power.
Roundup of all that's making news from across the country. Trouble mounting. Sacked TMC Minister Partha Chatterjee's aide Arpita Mukherjee now after Diamond City. ED conducted raids at Bulgaria residence. ED teams also collected CCTV footage and several documents from Arpita's residence. Following back-to-back cash hauls and summons, sources have informed that TMC is likely to go in a major organizational overhaul as well as a reshuffle in its cabinet.
That is Christian Michel. First visuals on your scene. Christian, would you give facts to India?
Mr. Bhandari, just one question, sir.
Mr. Mallya, why are the questions bothering you when I'm not getting a single answer?
Three Congress MLAs from Jharkhand were stopped in West Bengal's Havra district by the police after a huge amount of cash was recovered from the Congress leaders, and acting on a tip-off, the vehicle in which the MLAs were travelling was intercepted on National Highway 16 at Renihati in Panchala police station area in West Bengal. As forces intensify crackdown on terror, 3 Lashkar terrorists were apprehended in Baramulla's Rafiabad. Additionally, huge cache of arms and ammunition, including pistols, were recovered from the apprehended terrorists.
Whenever you want, Republic live stream with you everywhere. Republic live stream, India's #1 streaming news.
Tracking all the updates on the ED raids which are underway at locations linked to Sanjay Raut. In fact, his residence is being raided as we speak by the Enforcement Directorate after the Bhandup residence. His Dadar flat is currently being raided by the Enforcement Directorate officials. Those are the visuals also that we are getting to you. After early morning raids at Bhandup residence of Sanjay Raut, which lasted for over 3 hours, raids are now being conducted at his Dadar flat as well. In fact, more details that are now emerging. Sanjay Raut is likely to be taken to the ED office at 2:30 p.m. So that is the latest coming in. He will be taken to the ED office for further questioning in the Patra Chaul scam at 2:30 p.m. today. So that is the latest coming in. Raut's Dadar flat was earlier attached by the Enforcement Directorate. Ankit is tracking all the details, reporting live from outside Sanjay Raut's residence. We'll go across to Ankit as well in just a bit. But that is a fresh update coming in. Sanjay Raut, who will be taken to the ED office at 2:30 p.m. With regard to questioning in the Patra Chawl scam. Ankit is live with us. Ankit, if you could give us more details. We understand that Sanjay Raut will be taken to the ED office at 2:30 p.m. this afternoon.
Yes, that appears then to be the time that they have chosen, because there was word even from many hours earlier, as the number of protesters here increased, there was speculation that perhaps they would take him earlier, but it appears that 2:30 is the time that has been taken. We also can corroborate it with the very small fact that just now a bike load of water bottles has been taken inside, clearly for the people who are in there. And so that is just an informal indication that they intend to be here for maybe a little while longer as well. So 2:30 is the time that we are looking at. These raids and this questioning and this search process has been on since 7:30 in the morning. So it's been about 4.5 hours that it has already been going on for. It will extend now perhaps for another 2-3 hours is what we are being told. We are also under the impression, because we have been told that there have been senior officers of the ED who are now in Mumbai, and that is the word that has just been circulated around here, that there are perhaps some senior officers who are also here to be a part of this probe, not in this very search, but in the financial capital at this moment. And so maybe they will also be involved when Sanjay Raut is brought to the ED's office. And so that is the latest that we can tell you, Samiksha. The questioning is on. We have got one glimpse of Sanjay Raut for about 10 seconds in total, where he came out and he waved at his supporters. His supporters are still very much here. Every 5 minutes you have sporadic cheering for him, and his slogans are unfurled and their flags are also waved, and then it all settles down again for a little while. And so that is the process where we are at.
Yes, Ankit, stay with us. We understand that the NCP has also responded to the mega ED raids which are underway. Ajit Pawar has, in fact, in a way justified ED action against Raut, what we understand, saying that all these agencies like the ED, CBI and IT have their powers and they investigate as per their powers against any individual. If you could help us read into this statement, latest remark coming in by the NCP, Ankit, saying that the ED and CBI are investigating as per their powers against any individual.
Well, that is an interesting statement. Certainly, the former Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, has said that these are part of a process and they are under the powers of the agencies. And we know just a few days back we have been informed under no uncertain terms what the powers of the ED are, because the Supreme Court has stood for the ED's right to conduct its investigations as it wishes to in terms of Prevention of Money Laundering Act and PMLA cases. And one of them is that the ECIR doesn't need to be produced. Also, if someone needs to be arrested, you don't have to produce the FIR to arrest. And so these are the powers that are available. And to once again to quote what Ajit Pawar has been saying, he says that in a way, I mean, or rather we are reading into what he has said in Marathi, he has in a way justified the action, and he says like the agencies such as the ED, the CBI and the IT have their powers and they investigate as per their powers against any individual. Why ED is repeatedly probing Sanjay Raut, only Raut can answer.
Roundup of all that's making news from across the country. Trouble mounting for sacked TMC Minister Partha Chatterjee's aide Arpita Mukherjee. Now, after Diamond City, ED conducted raids at Bulgaria residence. ED teams also collected CCTV footage and several documents from Arpita's residence. Following back-to-back cash hauls and summons, sources have informed that TMC is likely to go in a major organizational overhaul as well as a reshuffle in its cabinet.
That is Christian Michel. First visuals on your scene. Christian, would you give facts to India?
Mr. Bhandari, just one question, sir.
Mr. Mallya, why are the questions bothering you when I'm not getting a single answer?
Three Congress MLAs from Jharkhand were stopped in West Bengal's Havra district by the police after a huge amount of cash was recovered from the Congress leaders, and acting on a tip-off, the vehicle in which the MLAs were travelling was intercepted on National Highway 16 at Renihati in Panchala police station area in West Bengal. As forces intensify crackdown on terror, 3 Lashkar terrorists were apprehended in Baramulla's Rafiabad. Additionally, huge cache of arms and ammunition, including pistols, were recovered from the apprehended terrorists. A terrorist who's been identified as Irshad Ahmed Bhatt of Baramulla has been neutralized in the encounter that happened early morning. Bhatt was linked to, the terrorist was linked to organization Lashkar-e-Taiba, and forces have recovered huge cache of arms including AK rifle, 2 magazines and 30 rounds from the slain terrorist.
उसमें आग लगी हुई है और आंदोलनकारी इस तरीके से
और कश्मीरी
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, who is on a 3-day visit to the state for the first time after.
He heard the question this time very clearly. No answers from him. Our keys continue to be with his men. We faced intimidation here.
We've been trying to get in touch with you and ask you several questions on the land deals that you had along with Priyanka Vadra and Robert Vadra. Why are you trying to avoid the cameras? Once again trying to get in a word with Mr. Vijay Mallya. Persistently been asking you only one question. Mallya, why did you escape in 2015?
Back-to-back political reactions as well coming in on the mega ED raids which are currently underway. Ankit continues to be with us, reporting live from outside Raut's residence. Ankit, we understand that the AAP has also responded now. Take us through the details.
So it appears that Saurabh Bharadwaj of the Aam Aadmi Party has taken exception, and he's challenged a couple of things. He says, first and foremost, that the ED works under the PMLA Act and that the PMLA Act is very wrong. So that is a big statement that the Aam Aadmi Party is stating, and it comes at a time when the Supreme Court has upheld the powers of the ED vis-a-vis the PMLA Act. He says the ED can arrest anyone under the PMLA without any FIR. That's why he thinks it's wrong. So the central government is using the PMLA and the ED against the opposition. So the AAP is essentially claiming that the central government is using the ED and the PMLA Act to silence the opposition. And you can see why the AAP would want to say such a thing, because currently one of its senior leaders and a minister, in fact, who remains a minister without any portfolios in the Arvind Kejriwal dispensation, that is Satyendra Jain, is under the arrest of the Enforcement Directorate and has been so for some time, so much so, and the evidence is such that even Arvind Kejriwal has not defended him in some time now. So this is a general defense that appears to have been mounted by the Aam Aadmi Party via Saurabh Bharadwaj over the raid that is currently being held at Sanjay Raut's residence on the Shiv Sena Member of Parliament. The Aam Aadmi Party, of course, has not gotten into any specifics of this case, and neither did Ajit Pawar get into the specifics of this case when Ajit Pawar spoke about it as well. In fact, that reaction was even more interesting because he says why the ED is carrying out its searches, only Sanjay Raut can answer. So he, in a way, not only justified, but he put the onus also on Sanjay Raut. And meanwhile, Samiksha, the visuals here remain essentially the same. You can see that the flags are being waved right now. We can just provide a better angle. The flags are sporadically being waved at Sanjay Raut's Maitri residence, but we have not seen him apart from that one brief glimpse about an hour ago for 10 seconds when he appeared at a lower floor window to wave at his supporters who continue to stand by him, but there are not those many answers forthcoming against the allegations that are against him and against the allegations in this 2007 Patra Chawl scam case. And viewers, we retain this reporting position outside Sanjay Raut's residence in Bhandup. There is word that he will be taken to the ED office in a couple of hours from now. It could even be before that. So stay tuned and keep watching Republic for minute-to-minute details.
Three Congress MLAs from Jharkhand were stopped in West Bengal's Havra district by the police after a huge amount of cash was recovered from the Congress leaders, and acting on a tip-off, the vehicle in which the MLAs were travelling was intercepted on National Highway 16 at Renihati in Panchala police station area in West Bengal. As forces intensify crackdown on terror, 3 Lashkar terrorists were apprehended in Baramulla's Rafiabad. Additionally, huge cache of arms and ammunition, including pistols, were recovered from the apprehended terrorists. A terrorist who's been identified as Irshad Ahmed Bhatt of Baramulla has been neutralized in the encounter that happened early morning. Bhatt was linked to, the terrorist was linked to organization Lashkar-e-Taiba, and forces have recovered huge cache of arms including AK rifle, 2 magazines and 30 rounds from the slain terrorist.
उसमें आग लगी हुई है और आंदोलनकारी इस तरीके से
और कश्मीरी
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, who is on a 3-day visit to the state for the first time after taking over the chief ministerial post, will visit 39 MLAs who extended support to him and led to the subsequent collapse of the Maha Vikas Aghadi government. Prime Minister Modi will address all citizens in July edition of Mann Ki Baat at 11 a.m. This comes after Prime Minister shared the June edition of Mann Ki Baat booklet covering topics such as India's strides in space, glory of sports field, Rath Yatra, among others. On the occasion of death anniversary of late Ramachandra Paramahans Das, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will offer tributes in Ayodhya temple today. Yogi Adityanath will also visit Hanuman Ghadi at Ram Janmabhoomi temple. Union Minister Nityanand Rai refuted the claim made by RJD leader.
Whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
The headlines at noon. Early morning ED action in Mumbai. Sanjay Raut now raided. ED intensifies action, raids Sanjay Raut's residences. ED ups ante against Sanjay Raut. Tightens news. Raids dart the residence after Bhandup residence. ED hot chase against Sanjay Raut gets hotter. Raut likely to be taken to ED office. In the Commonwealth Games underway at Birmingham, India's medal tally goes up at the Games as India bags 4 medals. Bindya Rani ups India's medals tally in Birmingham, lifts another silver. So Partho and Arpita, these are latest visuals from the Bengal cash scam case of the two main figures, the central figures in this entire drama. Arpita Mukherjee and Partho Chatterjee, former TMC minister and TMC bigwig. Arpita and Partho now taken for medical checkup at the ESI hospital. These are visuals that we're getting you from Kolkata. And it's been days of questioning. It's been days since both were picked up by the Enforcement Directorate. And staggering heaps of cash were recovered, mainly from Arpita Mukherjee's various residences. Also cars, luxury cars and bank accounts. We are also hearing that she has spoken about a number of other prominent names. She has disclosed the names of another more than nearly 14 people. And the Enforcement Directorate has seized 8 of her bank accounts. Joining us now on the phone line. On the phone line with us is our correspondent Piyush Ori. Piyush, you are getting those visuals from the ESI hospital in Kolkata. Partho and Arpita there at the hospital premises for checkup. Arpita going in right now. What is the latest as far as breaking developments in this case are concerned? The ED questioning them both, lots of disclosures. Take us through what's happening.
So as you said, that this is for the second time now, Partho Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee are being taken to ESI hospital in Joka for the medical examination. The last time when they were taken for the medical examination, we had witnessed a lot of drama where Arpita Mukherjee claimed that she looked physically frail and she looked mentally pressured. So you can understand the kind of toll physically and mentally now which ED interrogation is taking, at least on Arpita Mukherjee, which seems to be now breaking down because of the interrogations which on which both Partho Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee are on the back foot. Having said that, the Enforcement Directorate now is also trying to find the sources of income from the huge amounts of cash which they have recovered from the house of Arpita Mukherjee, the close aides of Partho Chatterjee, in this teacher recruitment scam that has rocked the politics of Bengal. The major objective now of Enforcement Directorate to nail the culprits involved in this case is to find the sources of income of all the directors that were involved in the shell companies. Mind you, the proceeds of crime which Partho Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee had got from this, reportedly from the scam, was used in investing a large number of properties and also setting up a lot of shell companies. So now the Enforcement Directorate officials are trying to find the sources of income that was invested in these shell companies as well as in the real estate. Large number of real estate that was purchased in Kolkata and other parts of Bengal. So yes, things are becoming more difficult for Partho Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee. And more interestingly, it is being told to us that not only Partho Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee, but there can be other names also that may be associated, that may be involved in this scam. Back to you in the studio.
Well, Piyush, in fact, we at Republic, we are carrying reports that, that she has in fact disclosed 14 names, but more on that later. Now tell us, what are you hearing from your sources about the next step today? Is there to be likely to be more ED questioning? Where to after this hospital visit? Or does a lot depend on this particular visit and what the doctors actually tell the ED?
So definitely, that Arpita Mukherjee questioning revealed that the of this is huge, and it is neither Arpita or which are
we are having some issues with the audio there, Piyush. We are having some issues with the with the audio now. Let's go across and take a look at those visuals that we are getting. Arpita Mukherjee. Visuals there from Kolkata, where Partho and Arpita, the main accused in the Bengal cash scam case, being taken to the ASI hospital there. Piyush Ori on the spot to give us all the updates there. Piyush, it's over to you to take us through what's happening. We are seeing those dramatic visuals. Partho Chatterjee is surrounded by crowds arriving there at the hospital on a wheelchair. Arpita Mukherjee also, we all remember what happened during the last medical checkup. Over to you now. What next after this medical stop? Or will a lot depend on what the doctors say here, what emerges here?
So as you rightly said that there is a lot of drama, which is involved while Partho Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee are being taken for their medical examination. This is for the second time that Partho Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee are being taken for the medical examination from the time the court asked the Enforcement Directorate officials to allow both of these people who are involved in the teacher recruitment scam to be examined medically every time mandatorily for 48 hours. Now, the last time, we saw very dramatic visuals of Arpita Mukherjee breaking down and Partho Chatterjee also, saying that he was being framed politically. And there are every chances that, they may try to use the same tactic of trying to gain sympathy. It is going to be interesting to see that, what kind of, tactic would Partho Chatterjee and Arpita Mukherjee be using this time. Having said that,
Well, other breaking news coming in now, this time from Mumbai. Well, Swapna Patkar to get security, Mumbai police to provide security. As we are getting this information, sources telling us that Mumbai police will be providing police security to Swapna Patkar in a complaint filed by her, alleging that she has received a letter. That's Swapna Patkar, and apparently, she has received a letter pressurizing her to withdraw her statement against Sanjay Raut in the Patra Chaul case. Police yesterday had filed the case against unknowns in the case. Alisha, to give us more details about this breaking development. Alisha, early in the morning too, we were talking about, well, various witnesses in this Patra Chaul case speaking about being intimidated. Now, Swapna Patkar to be provided security. Give us more information. When did she file this case? What are the conditions she is given?
Well, Rukma, it is important to know that Sapna Patkar is one of those whose statement has been recorded by Enforcement Directorate earlier in the same Patrachal case, where now the ED has been questioning and conducting searches at Sanjay Raut resident, whether it is in Bhandup or Dadar. But what we got to know from our sources in Mumbai Police that now Mumbai Police is going to provide police security to Sapna Patkar. So Sapna Patkar a few days back has given a complaint before the police, that is in Wakola Police Station, clearly stating that it's a threat letter that she has received from some unknown people, and they have threatening her to withdraw her statement against Sanjay Raut. We even know in the same Patrachal case where Sapna Patkar's statement was recorded by Enforcement Directorate, where several documents that has been provided, and that document is said to be is something against Sanjay Raut, and also there are statements that she made against Sanjay Raut before the agency, after which she received a letter that is a threat letter asking her to withdraw her statement against Sanjay Raut in the same Patrachal case, after which she filed a complaint before the Wakola Police Station. And yesterday, what we know that Wakola Police Station has filed a non-cognizable case that is under section 507, and the investigation is still underway. Even police has informed that they are soon going to file FIR, because this is NC is something against unknown person, and the police has been looking into the matter. They have been investigating who has sent this threat letter to Sapna Patkar. But what we are going to know that now Sapna Patkar is going to get the police security from the Mumbai police, and also soon there will be FIR in the case, so that police can come to a concrete conclusion who are the persons who have been sending the threat letter to withdraw her statement against Sanjay Raut.
Well, a threat letter we're talking about. There are more allegations regarding threats to Swapna Patkar. If you're hearing any more about this, Alisha, especially is it only on the basis of this particular letter, or is there more evidence that Swapna Patkar has presented to the police? What are you hearing from your sources that that she needs security at this time?
Well, yes, that was a threat letter that was, put forward before the Mumbai police, because Sapna Patkar has said that it is not only a threat to kill, but also she will be raped is something what has been mentioned in the letter, clearly asking her to withdraw her statement against Sanjay Raut. We even know there was an audio between Sapna Patkar and Sanjay Raut that was, getting viral on social media. Of course, we don't have the authority of those audio, but that was going around, and we can clearly see that Sanjay Raut is someone who is been abusing Sapna Patkar in that video. But yes, let me clear that we don't vouch for the authenticity of that audio, but right after we can see there are the action that has been even initiated by Enforcement Directorate as well, because what we have been told, Sapna Patkar while before the Enforcement Directorate, while recording a statement, has clearly mentioned Sanjay Raut and his illegality in this Patrachal case, his how he's relatable, and there are some of the money trial that was between Sapna Patkar and Sanjay Raut's wife Varsha Raut, and we even know there was 83 lakhs that was given to Sanjay Raut's wife Varsha Raut, and that money was allegedly used for the flat, to buy a flat in Dadar. But while talking about Sapna Patkar, the complaint that was filed before Wakola Police Station, the NC has already been registered, and what we know that Mumbai Police is going to provide police security to Sapna Patkar.
Well, Alisha, stay with us. We also have with us Ankit Prasad, who's outside the residence of Sanjay Raut. Ankit, what's happening right now? A short while back, we had seen Sanjay Raut waving to his supporters outside for just a few seconds, can we say. Meanwhile, what are you hearing from your sources? Is his questioning still underway? What's happening there?
There has been an increased movement of Shiv Sainiks towards the residence of Sanjay Raut. Now, there is a constant back and forth that has been going on. There has been if you can hear me, There has been a constant back and forth that has been going on
Ankit.
between the Shiv Sainiks and Sanjay Raut's residence. Yes, so there have been people that have been coming and going, but now for this moment they appear to be coming more than going, and there appears to be some kind of accumulation. If we show you the visuals, we have moved just a little bit further away to capture the full scope of what's going on. So there in your visuals you can see all the Shiv Sainiks, you can see a number of police vehicles as well, and you can see the Maitri bungalow of Sanjay Raut. And it was from the first floor window of that bungalow that he had made his appearance. Just a short while earlier he had waved at his supporters for about 10 seconds. They had been sloganeering for him on his behalf for some time by then, and I think at the end of one volley he decided to give them a little more encouragement. The word is that in about 2 hours, but it could be even earlier than that, that Sanjay Raut could be taken from his home and taken to the ED's office. We await confirmation on that. That will only come in when we finally see him being taken, if at all. But for the moment, there are many Shiv Sainiks here who are supporting him. They've been here since the morning, shortly after the ED arrived here at about 7:30. But there is equal amount of police presence as well, because the police appear to be not taking anything for granted. There are women police officers as well here in large numbers. And so this is a situation right now that appears as though it is quiet, but it only takes a couple of seconds to charge these Shiv Sainiks up again and the slogans begin anew. Meanwhile, there are constant supplies of snacks and water being taken inside the residence, so that gives us the impression that it could be going on for some more time yet. Just when we think that there is some kind of activity, it turns out the gate is being opened so that bottles of water can be let in. And so that is leading to speculation that the questioning here may also continue for a short while longer. But 2:30 is the estimated time frame that we are looking at when it is possible that Sanjay Raut could be taken to the ED's office. Meanwhile, like you've been telling us, the raids are also in progress in Dadar as well, at the flat that is in his wife's name that has already been attached by the agency in this case, Rukma.
Well, Ankit, stay with us. Also, Alisha, who is giving us all those updates, Alisha and Ankit. Meanwhile, let's listen in to some reactions that have come in to understand more about the fallout of these latest breaking developments in the case.
मोठा माणूस तो नाहीये. बाळासाहेब शपथ घेण्याचा अधिकार आम्हाला आहे. आम्ही त्या शिवसेनेमध्ये 40 वर्ष काढले, त्याचा अधिकार फक्त आम्हाला आहे. यांनी नोकरी करता करता नेते होणं इतकं सोपं काम नाहीये आणि त्याची जाणीव आता त्यांना होईल. उद्धव साहेब, एक दिवस असा येईल की यांना स्वतःलाच बाहेरचा रस्ता दाखवतील, त्या टायमाला यांची जागा यांना कळेल. अहो, आम्ही पाहिलेलं आहे, याच माणसांनी शरद पवारच्या नादी
जिस प्रकार से आज सुबह 7 बजे रविवार के दिन राज्यसभा सांसद शिवसेना के मुख्य प्रवक्ता श्री संजय राउत जी के घर पर ईडी की रेड हुई है, इसकी हम कड़ी निंदा करते हैं. यह घटना दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है. जब संजय राउत जी को ईडी का समन्स आया, 2 बार आया, उन्होंने कहा, लिखित में अपने वकीलों के थ्रू एक मैसेज दिलवाया ईडी को कि पार्लियामेंट का सत्र चल रहा है, सत्र में बहुत सारे विषय पर चर्चा होती है, मेरा वहां रहना अति आवश्यक है. जब मैं वहां से समय पूरा करूंगा, मैं आपके पास जरूर आऊंगा. लेकिन पता नहीं क्या आनंद फानन में यह फैसला लिया गया. 10-10 ईडी के अधिकारी किसी के घर में आ जाते हैं सुबह 7 बजे. देश में हजारों लोगों पर ईडी के केसेस चल रहे हैं, उन्हें समन्स भेजे जाते हैं 2 बार, 4 बार, 10 बार, लेकिन ईडी किसी के घर में चली जाती है. ऐसा होता नहीं. यह घटना पूरी तरह से राजनीतिक से प्रेरित है. जहां जहां बीजेपी आगे जाकर काम नहीं कर पा रही है, वहां वहां ईडी को आगे भेजती है. संजय राउत जी बोलना बंद कर दें, संजय राउत जी शांत बैठ जाएं, बीजेपी का विरोध न करें, ऐसी मंशा है. यह दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और आने वाले समय में देश सब देख रहा है. इसका जवाब देश की जनता देगी.
नहीं, ईडी अपना काम कर रही है, वो संजय राउत हो या कोई हो, गड़बड़ कीजिएगा तो ईडी वहां पहुंचेगी और आपसे सवाल जवाब करेगी. इसमें इतना हाय तौबा क्यों मचाया जा रहा है? आप खुद ठीक हो तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं.
तो ये बड़ा दुर्भाग्य है कि 70 सालों के अंदर कभी भी जो एजेंसीज का जिनका इंडिपेंडेंट एक पोजीशन हुआ करता था वो आज सरकार के इशारों के ऊपर नाचती है। तो सिर्फ आप संजय राउत की क्यों बात कर रहे हैं? अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी के खिलाफ कोई एक आम आदमी ने भी अगर विरोध करा तो हो सकता है उसको भी इस बात का डर सताएगा कि कल मेरे पीछे भी ईडी लग जाए करके। तो ये ईडी, सीबीआई, इनकम टैक्स, ये जितने भी एजेंसीज है ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने अपनी जेब में रखी हुई है और वो रोज उठते हैं और कहते हैं कि ये बहुत बोल रहा है, इसके पीछे लगा दो, ये बहुत बोल रहा है, उसके पीछे लगा दो। तो यही काम चल रहा है।
So Sanjay Raut being questioned even as a political war of words has erupted. Our reporters Ankit and Alisha with us. Coming to you, Alisha, now a war of words has begun, as was expected. As his supporters say that it's a political vendetta and the misuse of state agencies. There are those who question why he was not appearing before the ED. What was it that stopped him from replying to the summons in the proper way as expected? It's over to you to give us some perspective regarding that, about the kind of reactions that are coming in.
Well, yes, we are hearing that there are Shiv Sena leaders who have been talking clearly, saying that this is nothing but a political vendetta that has been used while BJP has been using a central agency against whoever talking against BJP. So is what the claim that has been made by Shiv Sena leaders on the raid that has been conducted by Enforcement Directorate. But yes, we know, even we heard Ajit Pawar, who is a former Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, clearly stating whether it is Enforcement Directorate or whether it is ED, whether it is IT, whether it is Mumbai Police, Maharashtra Police, or whether it is ACB. So they have the authority and the power to investigate in any case they found, if something, if there is a case that has been registered. So whether Sanjay Raut has been called in continuously and why he's been called is something Sanjay Raut can only give answer to it. So at a certain point we can see a certain change in stand by the NCP while talking about the Enforcement Directorate, the searches that has been conducted, because not only at his residence in Bandu, but there are other team in Dadar as well, because that is the point. Whether we know that even Enforcement Directorate in the month of April has already attached some properties asset, including the flat in Dadar, and what we have been told that 83 lakhs that was given to Sanjay Raut's wife Varsha Raut, and that is where she used those money, this alleged money that used to buy a flat in Dadar, and now that has already been attached. But yes, Enforcement Directorate team is already at the same location where we have been told that Sanjay Raut will be taken to the ED office for the more questioning. While coming back to your question, like he's been summoned many times. Yes, he was summoned 4 times. This is the 4th. The last we know that it was 27th July where he was asked to appear before the Enforcement Directorate. At first, the first summon that was given to Sanjay Raut, he clearly said that there is a political crisis in the state of Maharashtra, which is why he need to be there and could not appear. While after Eknath Shinde, who took oath as a Chief Minister, and Devendra Fadnavis as the Deputy Chief Minister, we saw that Sanjay Raut itself has tweeted and clearly stated that he is going to appear before the Enforcement Directorate. But there are some more questions that need to be answered, and there is some evidence that has come across before the agency, which is why there was a third summon that was given to Sanjay Raut. But he skipped it, clearly saying that he could not be attend because he is in Delhi and he has to attend the Parliament session. But again, the fresh summon that was given for 27th July. And same reason was made. After which he skipped the 2 summons. He came where the Enforcement Director in the morning at 7, where they reached at Sanjay Raut residence, and the search has been conducting.
Well, a lot of breaking developments coming in back to back. The Congress now deciding to suspend the 3 MLAs caught with cash in West Bengal's Howrah. 3 Congress leaders had been found with cash, and now the Congress has suspended the 3 MLAs who are MLAs from Jharkhand. They were caught with huge amounts of cash in Howrah in West Bengal. Now the party in Jharkhand has suspended the 3 MLAs. And Prakash is joining us with this breaking development. Prakash, the MLAs found with huge amounts of cash, Jharkhand MLAs now suspended by the Congress party. Give us the latest updates.
The Congress party is holding a press conference at 1:30 p.m. in the Congress Bhavan, and they've taken note of the cash recovery allegedly from Irfan Ansari, Naman Viksal, Kongari and Rajesh Kachap as seized by the Bengal police, and the amount pertained to around 49 to 50 lakh rupees. And the Congress has taken notice of it, and we believe that the Congress party is holding a press conference, and soon some decision would be announced, most likely the suspension of 3 party MLAs from the party, not the expulsion. So the exact details would be known then. But what we get to know from the sources that the Congress party has already made up its mind to suspend the 3 party MLAs. An announcement to this effect would be done in the Congress headquarters in Ranchi.
So it has already. So it appears. Well, sources are telling us that's what our editor, Special Projects Prakash is telling us. That sources suggest that there could be a suspension, most likely of the 3 Congress members who were caught with huge amounts of cash.
Sainiks who are outside his house protesting on his behalf. But the question is, will Sanjay Raut be taken by the ED to their office for further questioning? We are told that is going to be the case, but stand by and stay tuned to Republic, because this is a situation that has been building up for some time. We'll be back in a short while, viewers.
Reading allows us to become familiar with ourselves.
We don't read, we won't know what is knowledge. I just find it very interesting to know people's lives, how they went through certain situations, how they dealt with things.
So wherever you want to go in life, if you read books along those lines, then that would really help you in growing.
Reading could mean a million different things to every individual. What does it mean to you? Visit readindia.info to find out more.
आग लगी हुई है और आंदोलनकारी इस तरीके से
और कश्मीरी
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
On the occasion of death anniversary of late Ramachandra Paramahansa Das, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will offer tributes in Ayodhya temple today. Yogi Adityanath will also visit Hanuman Ghadi at Ram Janmabhoomi temple. Union Minister Nityanand Rai refuted the claim made by RJD leader Tejasvi Yadav that Rai had expressed to the latter his wish to join the RJD. Rai further called Tejasvi Yadav a liar and further slammed the party, saying that corruption reigns supreme in RJD.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
This week, watch Checkmate to know why India is buying the latest arms and ammunitions. Why is India getting the latest defense technology from the world? Why is India arming itself at such a rapid rate? But I will tell you what I believe. I believe India has global ambitions. I believe India wants to be a global leader. When India says that it wants to become a Vishwa...
You are whenever you want. Republic Live Stream with you everywhere. Republic Live Stream, India's #1 streaming news.
Headlines at 12:30. Early morning ED action in Mumbai. Sanjay Raut now raided. Raut skips 2 summons. ED intensifies action, raids Raut's residences. ED ups ante against Raut, tightens news, raids Dadar residents after Bhanduk residents. Fresh trouble for Raut, the ED hot chase gets hotter. Sanjay Raut likely to be taken to the ED office. Bindya Rani ups India's medal tally in Birmingham, lifts another silver for India. Tally now rises to 4. Good afternoon, viewers. Thanks for tuning in this Sunday afternoon. Lots lined up for you, tracking the big story coming in this hour of the mega ED raids, which are currently underway at Sanjay Raut's residence. In fact, more updates that are just coming in. We are told that the Mumbai police will provide police security to Swapna Patkar. This is with respect to a complaint that was filed by Swapna alleging that she had received a letter pressurizing her to withdraw her statement against Sanjay Raut in Patra Chaul scam case. In fact, police yesterday, which is Saturday, had filed a complaint against unknown people in this case. An investigation is underway as we speak. Sources inform that an FIR will also be registered in this case. So that's the update coming in. Mumbai police to provide police security to Swapna Patkar, and the fresh visuals that also we are getting of the ED raids which are currently underway at Sanjay Raut's residence, not just in the Bhanduk residence but also in the Dadar residence. Ankit is joining us live, tracking all those updates, reporting live from outside Sanjay Raut's residence. Ankit, if you could give us the latest updates you're picking up.
Yeah, so the latest we are picking up, Samiksha, is that in about maybe 2 hours from now, Sanjay Raut could be taken to the ED's office. However, don't hold me to that time because it even happened before that, because every now and then we see that the police deployment is being increased here. More officers, more women officers are also being brought in, and like you've been telling us, there are key developments in this case that are going on even right now, such as, for instance, the raids of the Enforcement Directorate extending even to the Dadar flat. And we know that the Dadar flat has already been attached by the ED, because the Dadar flat is the one that has this claim that money was sent from Praveen Raut's wife to Varsha Raut, the wife of Sanjay Raut, and that is how that flat was acquired. It is part of the 11 point something crore recovery seizures that have been made in terms of property. So that flat, 8 parcels of land in Alibag. Now that is interesting because the co-owner of those 8 parcels is this Swapna Patkar, who we are talking about, who has complained that she has received a letter that contains various heinous threats against her, and there is also different claims that have been made with regards to the threats that she has received, with Sanjay Raut also cited. And so there is a lot of activity that is currently ongoing at this moment. There has been an increase in the number of Shiv Sainiks that are here as well. Right now they are not protesting very hard, but it only takes a couple of seconds and they ramp it up. They have their flags. About an hour back we saw Sanjay Raut appear just for 10 seconds at his window, and that really galvanized them. And their chants are the same. They are along the lines of what the various political parties have been saying. Like, for instance, when we discussed the Aam Aadmi Party a short while back, they are saying that because the government is scared, it's sending the ED. But the ED, it must be said, has very specific charges, and none of those charges have been answered, because there is in total 1,000 crore rupees worth of transaction and deal and agreements that are involved in this entire case, dating back to the year 2007, and there are at least 672 people who were owed tenements, but they were not given as per the agreement that was signed. Instead, there were private companies who were sold floor space, index space, essentially development space in those parcels in that Patra land, Patra Chaul area in Goregaon. So we are right now in Bhanduk, and the expectation is that in some time from now, it could be any time, Sanjay Raut could be taken out, and wherever there is a hub of activity, whenever there is a slight increase in volume, there's always a thought that he's appeared or he's being taken out somewhere. So this is a developing situation, and it is a fraught situation right now, Samiksha.
Yes, yes, Ankit, stay with us. We are also getting more updates. Kirit Sumaya has tweeted saying that I'm happy that Mumbai police has agreed to register an FIR in Sanjay Raut's CD threat letter case. If you could give us more details on this in fact, the complaint that was filed by Swapna alleging that she'd received a letter pressurizing her to withdraw the complaint that she'd filed.
In fact, Samiksha, a short while before Alisha gave us this information that at the Wakola police station, this complaint has been filed and an FIR is also likely, and the police is going to give Swapna Patkar security. Kirit Somaiya had already tweeted that he was en route to that same police station to file a complaint against Sanjay Raut. So this is all a tied-in scenario. Actually, audiences would be surprised to know how tied in all of this is, and it all seems to be coming together because the allegations of threats being leveled against Swapna Patkar have also increased and reached a crescendo right now, and so have the summons that were issued to Sanjay Raut in this case. So it's essentially all coming together, and it's no surprise that Kirit Somaiya is also amping up the pressure from his end, whatever he can do, because he and Sanjay Raut, of course, they have other cases also, defamation for instance, and they definitely do not get along. So that is something that is political, but it needn't necessarily have to do with the ED case. The ED case is an ongoing matter that has been developing for some time, and so far Sanjay Raut has skirted it, but no more, they've landed up at his door.
Yes, Ankit, stay with us. Also, if you could help us understand the line of questioning that we can expect by the Enforcement Directorate from Sanjay Raut, because this is a scam for which his aide was also arrested earlier. If you could give us, help us understand how is the questioning likely to be when he's taken to the ED office this afternoon. Yes, Ankit, stay with us. We also have Sudhir Mungatiwar of the BJP also joining us. Sir, if I can get your quick reaction to the ED summons and the ED raids which are currently underway at Sanjay Raut's residence with respect to the Patra Chaul scam. Sir, if you can hear us, Sudhir Mungatiwar.
नमस्कार.
Yes, yes.
नमस्कार जी, नमस्कार. बताइए.
हाँ जी, आपका रिएक्शन क्या है? अगर आप हमें बता सके, जो ईडी रेड्स अभी चल रही है, मल्टीपल रेजिडेंट्स जो संजय राउत के हैं वहां पर.
नहीं, ऐसा है, हमारे देश का संविधान कहता है कि चाहे सीबीआई हो, ईडी हो, इनके पास कोई कंप्लेंट रहती है, कोई जांच का मामला रहता है, तो उससे जो जुड़े हुए सवाल जवाब वो किसी से भी कर सकते हैं. और संजय राउत जी का पत्राचाल के मामले में उनको जवाब चाहिए. आप भी जानते हो, ये हर सरकार की तपास यंत्रणा है. संविधान उनको जांच की अनुमति देता है. महाराष्ट्र में जब संजय राउत जी की सरकार थी, महाविकास आघाड़ी की, तब भी यहाँ के कई नेताओं को इस बारे में जांच के लिए बुलाया जाता था. जैसे हमारे नेता देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी को सीआरपीसी 160 में बुलाया गया था. नारायण राणे साहब थे, वो तो कैबिनेट मंत्री. देश में 138 करोड़ की जनसंख्या है, उसमें 77 मिनिस्टर्स है, 30 कैबिनेट है, उसमें से नारायण राणे जी थे. 505 दो में बुलाया गया था. हमारी खासदार नवनीत राणा थी, उन्होंने हनुमान चालीसा के बारे में बाद में अपना आग्रह भी छोड़ दिया था, फिर भी 14 दिन जेल में डाल दिया था. हमारे आमदार नीतीश राणे हैं, क्योंकि कानून वही कहते थे, संजय राउत ही जो कहते थे कि कानून के सामने कोई नेता नहीं, कोई कार्यकर्ता नहीं, कोई छोटा नहीं, कोई बड़ा नहीं. तो आज उनको कवच कुंडल नहीं मिल सकता है. ईडी इस बारे में बड़े गंभीरता से जांच कर रही है, और जब ईडी समय देती थी, ये गैरहाजिर रहते थे. तो पहली बार जांच की जा रही है, तो मुझे लगता कि संजय राउत जी ने एक वीडियो भी ट्वीट किया था कई साल पहले कि जांच एजेंसियों को अपनी जांच करने दो. तो आज तो उनके मतों में परिवर्तन नहीं हो सकता. ये कोई राजनीति नहीं है कि बाबा साहब के विचार से फिर कांग्रेस के चरणों में समर्पण कर दिए. आपका विचार था कि जांच एजेंसियों को जांच करने की अनुमति होनी चाहिए, वो उनका अधिकार है. तो अपने अधिकार का उपयोग अगर ईडी कर रही है, तो ये भावना व्यक्त करना कि मुझे सुरक्षा चाहिए, मुझे कवच कुंडल चाहिए, मुझे तो बीमा चाहिए कि मैं कुछ भी कहूं, कुछ भी बोलूं, मुझे कोई जांच के घेरे में ना खड़ा करे, तो ऐसा तो देश में नहीं हो सकता.
जी. और संजय राउत ने ट्वीट भी करा है, ये बोला है कि उन्होंने बाला साहेब ठाकरे को इन्वोक करा है, बोला है कि उन्होंने कुछ गलत नहीं किया है संजय राउत ने. और यही क्वेश्चन हम भी पूछ रहे हैं कि अगर उन्होंने, संजय राउत ने कुछ गलत नहीं करा है, तो उन्होंने जो समन्स थे ईडी के पहले वो स्किप क्यों करे?
यही तो बात है, कर नहीं तो डर क्या है. और कोई भी जांच एजेंसी अगर कोई पापी मन से कोई एक्शन करेगी तो यहाँ पे न्यायपालिका
All right, we seem to have lost that connection. That was Sudhir of the BJP, Mangetwar of the BJP speaking to us, questioning Sena MP Sanjay Raut there with regard to the Patra Chawl scam. In fact, independent MP Navneet Rana has also responded to the ED raids which are underway. Let's listen into what she had to say.
जो आज संजय राउत जी पे जो कार्रवाई हुई है, मुझे लगता है ईडी ने बहुत देर कर दी। ये कार्रवाई तो मुझे लगता है कई महीनों पहले ही हो जानी चाहिए थी, पर जिस तरीके से ईडी जो इनको समन्स भेज रहे थे, इंक्वायरी के लिए लेटर्स इनके घर तक पहुंच रहे थे, उनका आंसर इन्होंने दिया नहीं। कभी कहा कि मैं पार्लियामेंट सेशन में हूँ करके मुझे आगे की तारीख दीजिए, कभी कहा मैं हॉस्पिटल से अभी डिस्चार्ज हुआ उसके बाद दीजिए, कभी कहते हैं कि हमारा गवर्नमेंट फॉर्म हो रहा है उसके बाद मुझे तारीख दीजिए। तारीख वही मांगता है और स्पष्टीकरण वो नहीं दे पाता है जिन्होंने सच में भ्रष्टाचार किया है। पत्राचाल के रिलेटेड हो, अलीबाग का सब्जेक्ट हो और महाविकास अघाड़ी के एजेंट बन के ये संजय राउत जी काम कर रहे थे। और 25-30 कंपनियां ऐसी हैं जिसमें ये पार्टनर हैं और उनके साथ में मिलकर इन्होंने भ्रष्टाचार किया है। तो मुझे लगता है कि आज इनके घर में इंक्वायरी हुई है और ये जो ट्वीट कर रहे हैं कि महाराष्ट्र की जनता लड़ेगी, महाराष्ट्र की जनता लड़ेगी। छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज ने हमें यही सिखाया है कि अन्याय के विरुद्ध में लड़ना कैसे कहते हैं और कैसे करना चाहिए, उसके विरुद्ध में आज महाराष्ट्र की जनता जरूर लड़ेगी।
News coming in, this one from J&K, we are told. Report coming in from Kathua, where 2 children have reportedly died as a result of a house collapse that happened because of the flash floods and mudslides in the Bilawar area of Kathua. So that's the update coming in. Sad news coming in from Kathua, where 2 minors succumbed to injuries as a result of a house collapse, which happened as a result of flash floods in Kathua region. So as you can see the visuals also on your screens of the house that collapsed in the Kathua area, and as a result of which 2 children succumbed to these injuries. In fact, remember earlier in Kathua, due to the flash floods, 3 people had gone missing as well. So situation grim in Kathua because of the incessant rainfall that continues in several districts of J&K. And this news coming in from Kathua, where 2 children have died as a result of a house collapse which happened because of the flash floods in the area. Gursimran is joining us for more details. Gursimran, if you could talk to us more about the situation in Kathua as of now. We understand that the weather remains, the weather is harsh even as we speak, because 3 people we are told are missing, whereas 2 children have died as a result of a house collapse because of the flash floods.
Has collapsed due to the flash floods and the mudslides that have taken place in the Bilawar area of Kathua, in which 2 lost their life. Now the and rescue operations are on in the area, and also in the Guda Salati area, where 3 people have gone missing after the flash floods have occurred in the Tarna Nala area. Right now, we are at that very place. This is the Tarna Nala area, this Guda Sarkari area, where 3 people have gone missing, and so far 2 people are dead. 3 are missing in the Kathua district due to the heavy rainfalls and flash floods that have occurred in this very area. Now the searches are on in the entire area to find out those 3 people missing. If Sarjeevan, I'll request Sarjeevan to keep showing you the visuals that the Jammu and Kashmir police and the SDRF, they have reached the banks of this Tarna Nala. We'll try to speak to some of the locals who sir, हुआ क्या था, कब ये घटना सामने आई, क्या हुआ?
ये सुबह कोई 5 बजे।
तो क्या हुआ?
उधर ट्रैक्टर भर रहे थे, अचानक पानी आ गया।
तो 3 लोग मिसिंग?
हाँ, 3 लोग मिसिंग है। 1 डेड बॉडी गई है, 2 ही बाकी हैं।
तो ऐसा लगता है कि आगे की तरफ चले गए होंगे काफी?
हाँ, शायद आगे की तरफ बह गए, ऊपर तक तो नहीं।
पानी कितना ज्यादा घरों तक आया था?
पानी घरों तक नहीं, नाला तो बहुत गहरा है ना, तो पानी घर तो नहीं, फसलें सब बर्बाद हो गई, सब निकल गई।
So this is the exact situation on ground. If I can ask Sarjeevan to show you that these
all their fields. They have totally been washed away. The river is on the other side, but due to the flash floods that have occurred early in the morning, the entire fields have been washed away. Now the police and the SDRF, they are going to the forward areas, the areas which are very near to the bank of the river, so that the bodies of 3 missing, because of what it seems that they are presumed to be dead. Now they are trying to find out the bodies. Even the tractor which was washed away due to the flash flood has not been found yet. So the searches are on in the area by the Jammu and Kashmir police and the SDRF along with the CRPF and the Special Operations Group to find out those 3 missing. We are getting to know that some body has been recovered. However, an official confirmation is awaited from the Jammu and Kashmir police. Yes.
All right, Gursimran, thank you for taking us through all the latest. So Gursimran reporting live from Kathua, the very same place where 3 people have gone missing as well, and the rescue operations that continue as we speak. So tragic news in fact coming in from Kathua, where 2 children succumbed to injuries as a result of house collapse, which happened due to the flash floods that have happened in the area. So search is still on to find those 3 people who are missing because of the flash floods that have happened in Kathua of J&K. Remember, the weather is still harsh in Kathua as we speak because of the inclement weather conditions. And the latest that is coming in, the house collapse incident that happened in this area where 2 children lost their lives.
दीदी की पार्टी है और भतीजे की पार्टी है, नवीन बाबू की पार्टी है, वो एक व्यक्ति की पार्टी है उड़ीसा में। आप YSR की बात कर लीजिए, जगन मोहन की बात कर लीजिए, परिवार की बात।
Amity University has India's largest scholarship program, from which over 25,000 brilliant students have already benefited. Students with over 95% in Class 12 boards get 100% scholarship, and students with over 90% get 50% scholarship. Join brilliant like-minded students who want to be successful. Apply at amity.edu/scholarships.
Wherever you are, whenever you want, Republic live stream with you everywhere. Republic live stream, India's #1 streaming news.
This week, watch Checkmate to why India is buying the latest arms and ammunitions. Why is India getting the latest defense technology from the world? Why is India arming itself at such a rapid rate? But I will tell you what I believe. I believe India has global ambitions. I believe India wants to be a global leader. When India says that it wants to become a Vishwaguru, it is not just talking about intellectual pursuit. It's not just talking about soft power. India is also talking about hard power.
Roundup of all that's making news from across the country. Trouble mounting for sacked TMC Minister Partha Chatterjee's aide Arpita Mukherjee. Now, after Diamond City, ED conducted raids at Bulgaria residence. ED teams also collected CCTV footage and several documents from Arpita's residence. Following back-to-back cash hauls and summons, sources have informed that TMC is likely to go in a major organizational overhaul as well as a reshuffle in its cabinet.
That is Christian Michel. First visuals on your scene. Christian, would you give facts to India?
Mr. Bhandari, just one question, sir.
Mr. Mallya, why are the questions bothering you when I'm not getting a single answer?
Three Congress MLAs from Jharkhand were stopped in West Bengal's Havra district by the police after a huge amount of cash was recovered from the Congress leaders, and acting on a tip-off, the vehicle in which the MLAs were travelling was intercepted on National Highway 16 at Renihati in Panchala police station area in West Bengal. As forces intensify crackdown on terror, 3 Lashkar terrorists were apprehended in Baramulla's Rafiabad. Additionally, huge cash in So live visuals coming in of from Amritsar, where the SKM is staging a protest. It's a rail roko andolan in Amritsar by the Samyukt Kisan Morcha. We'll go across to Amandeep as well to get us more information. But the SKM leaders there raising slogans. The rail roko andolan by the SKM in Amritsar. News in brief, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu awarded police officers with President's Award for their distinguished and meritorious services in the uniformed services in Tamil Nadu.
The Tamil Nadu Police Department.
I am really happy to be here along with the Honorable Chief Minister for this prestigious President's Medal Award function to Tamil Nadu Police, which is one of the best police force in the country. I have no hesitation to say it.
Union Minister and BJP leader Dharmendra Pradhan took part in Tiranga Padyatra as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in Dhainiktal in Odisha. The Tiranga Padyatra began from Bhubanpala Mandap to the birthplace of Shaheed Baji Raut. The Tiranga Padyatra was held as part of Har Ghar Tiranga campaign, which is launched to encourage citizens to hoist national flags in their homes to mark the 75th year of independence. Odisha's Health Minister Naba Kishore Das held a review meet on monkeypox with senior officials and said that the state is taking all necessary measures in view of virus spreading while also keeping an eye on the situation in the country. Meanwhile, an expert committee for the treatment of monkeypox in Cuttack has been formed by the Health Department. After a resounding victory from Hasanpur in the 2020 Bihar elections, RJD leader Tej Pratap Yadav has decided to return to his home turf in the next assembly polls. Speaking to reporters, the Lalu Sayan revealed his plans to contest the 2025 elections from the Mahua seat and promised to work towards converting the village into a district. A day before, in fact, the deadline to file our income tax return ends today. More than 5 crore income tax returns have been filed till Saturday evening. The department has also issued a notification stating that taxpayers and salaried class should file their returns within the due date of today.
डायरिया के इंसिडेंट्स घट गए। हेल्थ मिनिस्ट्री की तरफ से मैं बोलता हूं कि डायरिया के इंसिडेंट्स घट गए। इसलिए स्वच्छता ही नहीं है, स्वस्थ परिवर्तन लाने का ही माध्यम है। लेकिन इन बातों को हमको बताना होगा, समझाना होगा, लोगों के बीच में जाकर के चीजों को रखना होगा। लोग जानते हैं। अब प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण अन्न योजना, आप बताइए किसी देश ने दुनिया में कोरोना के संक्रमण में कोई इस तरीके का पैकेज किया? आज 80 करोड़ की जनता को और उसमें प्रदेश सरकार अपनी तरफ से भी कुछ जोड़ करके देने का प्रयास कर रही है। ये स्वागत। पिछली बार 100 साल पहले जब महामारी आई थी तो लोग बीमारी से ज्यादा भूखमरी से मर गए थे, लेकिन उसकी भी व्यवस्था की गई। ऐसी कितनी स्कीम्स है, मैं गिनाने लगूं और आप सब लोग जानते भी हैं, लेकिन इसके हमको बाहर बनना है और इसके बाहर बनने के साथ साथ चीजों को नीचे तक ले जाना है और एक दूसरे के साथ विमर्श करने का और अच्छी तरीके से रखने का अगर कोई स्थान है तो वो कार्यालय है जिसका हमको उपयोग करना है। डिस्कशन होनी चाहिए, डिबेट होनी चाहिए, चर्चा होनी चाहिए। मैं आपको फिर से पुनः बधाई देना चाहता हूं। आज मेरे लिए तो सच में बहुत ही खुशी का विषय है कि आज उन लोगों को कितनी खुशी होती होगी जो दरियों पर बैठ करके और छोटे छोटे कार्यालयों में मिट्टी के मकानों में रहते हुए बरसात आ जाए तो पानी भीग जाए, कमरा भीग जाए, ऐसी परिस्थितियों में पार्टी को खड़ा किया था। आज 16 कार्यालय, नए भवन, विकास के मंदिर, परिवर्तन के मंदिर बनकर के तैयार हुए, संस्कार के मंदिर बनकर के तैयार हुए, 7 नए कार्यालय और तैयार हुए। मेरी शुभकामनाएं हैं, बिहार जल्द से जल्द सभी जिलों में अपना कार्यालय बनाए और आगे बढ़े। हमारी इस शुभकामना के साथ आप विचारधारा को आगे बढ़ाएं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Viewers, stand by with us at Sanjay Raut's residence in Mumbai because there is an increase in activity. There is a likelihood that something could emerge from Sanjay Raut's Maitri residence because the police is asking everyone to make way. So we'll reporting on this since the morning and we'll get you all the updates. There is a possibility he may be taken for a medical or to the ED. So stay with us on Republic. We'll be back after just a few seconds.
Roundup of all that's making news from across the country. Trouble mounting for sacked TMC Minister Partha Chatterjee's aide Arpita Mukherjee. Now, after Diamond City, ED conducted raids at Bulgaria residence. ED teams also collected CCTV footage and several documents from Arpita's residence. Following back-to-back cash hauls and summons, sources have informed that TMC is likely to go in a major organizational overhaul as well as a reshuffle in its cabinet.
That is Christian Michelle. First visuals on your scene. Christian, would you give facts to India?
Mr. Bhandari, just one question, sir.
Mr. Mallya, why are the questions bothering you when I'm not getting a single answer?
Three Congress MLAs from Jharkhand were stopped in West Bengal's Havra district by the police after a huge amount of cash was recovered from the Congress leaders, and acting on a tip-off, the vehicle in which the MLAs were travelling was intercepted on National Highway 16 at Renihati in Panchala police station area in West Bengal. As forces intensify crackdown on terror, 3 Lashkar terrorists were apprehended in Baramulla's Rafiabad. Additionally, huge cache of arms and ammunition, including pistols, were recovered from the apprehended terrorists. A terrorist who's been identified as Irshad Ahmed Bhatt of Baramulla has been neutralized in the encounter that happened early morning. Bhatt was linked to, the terrorist was linked to organization Lashkar-e-Taiba, and forces have recovered huge cache of arms including AK rifle, 2 magazines and 30 rounds from the slain terrorist.
उसमें आग लगी हुई है और आंदोलनकारी इस तरीके से
और कश्मीरी
Whenever you want, Republic live stream with you everywhere. Republic live stream, India's #1 streaming news.
Top headlines at 1 p.m. Early morning ED action in Mumbai. Sanjay Raut now raided. Raut skips 2 summons. ED intensifies action. Raids Raut residence. ED tightens noose on Sanjay Raut. Raids Dada residence after Bhandu residence. Fresh trouble for Raut. The ED hot chase gets hotter. Sanjay Raut likely to be taken to ED office. Bindya Rani ups India's medal tally in Birmingham. Birmingham lifts another silver for India. Tally now rises to 4. Good afternoon, viewers. Thanks for tuning in this Sunday afternoon. Lots more lined up for you in this edition of our broadcast as well. Tracking the big story this hour of the mega ED raids which are currently underway at Sanjay Raut's residence. And more breaking updates coming in. We are learning that Sanjay Raut will be taken to ED office in a short while from now. So closely tracking all the updates. Ankit, they're getting us minute-by-minute updates from reporting from outside Sanjay Raut's residence. In fact, high drama unfolding outside Sanjay Raut's residence as well, where supporters of Sanjay Raut have gathered to protest the ED questioning with regard to the Patra Chaul scam case, which amounts to over 1,000 crore rupees. So that is the latest coming in. Raids after the raids that were conducted at the Bhandup residence, raids also being conducted at the Dadar residence of Sanjay Raut. Ankit continues to be with us. Ankit, when can we expect Sanjay Raut to be taken to the ED office for further questioning?
That's an interesting question, because just now what happened in the last 2 minutes was the chief police official here, he appeared at the gate and he motioned for people to move and clear a path. Then what happened was, instead of doing that, instead of creating space, the Shiv Sainik supporters of Sanjay Raut have sat down in front of the gate. So they are amassed in large numbers over there and they have renewed their chanting, which has galvanized them further. So it really remains to be seen right now what will happen next. But that is the impression. We have been told that 2:30 was the time frame, but it could also be before that. One thing we can say is that the constant supply of water and snacks into the bungalow continues. So that just gives us the idea that the questioning could continue for some time longer. At the same time, the number of Shiv Sainiks here has been increasing continuously, and every now and then it increases even more. When Sanjay Raut appeared at the window, they were again given an impetus and they again renewed their sloganeering. For then a little while after that it was quiet. Then again they have picked it up once more. Another thing to mention is that not only has the police deployment increased, but also there were a couple of jawans of the CRPF that also went in with slightly heavier gear, and we know that they are currently stationed inside along with these 12 ED officials who have been part of this process. And now my video journalist Samir is giving you the visuals of the Shiv Sainiks who have sat themselves on the ground in front of the road. We'll just get you a little bit closer, and so you can then see how when the police asked them to make way, instead they came over and they sat down. So in case there is a expectation of the police that they want to remove something from this residence, they are going to have to ask these people to get out of the way, because there is no other way out of here. There have been word going around that he could be taken for a medical. There is word that he could be taken just to the ED's office for questioning. So it remains to be seen what the official line of action is going to be. But for the moment, his supporters have picked up their decibels, and their slogans is something that I've been hearing essentially thematically for a long time now while covering the Shiv Sena. One of them is that Neta kaise ho, Sanjay Raut jaisa ho. Another is Modi Sarkar darti hai, ED ko aage karti hai. And these are essentially the line of slogans that are being raised. These are some of the softer ones. There are those that really have no space being said in public, that are reserved for certain BJP leaders like Kirit Somaiya. That is one of the better noirs of Sanjay Raut, and vice versa. And so there is an element of that also. But the police is remaining steadfast here. They are not getting in the way of any protest. At the same time, they're maintaining a strong enough presence to make sure that nothing untoward or so happens. So this is currently the situation, and there are police officials deployed and as well as women police officials, because there are a lot of women Shiv Sainiks here also, and it is they who have essentially that have been leading these slogans. And it was to one of their volleys that Sanjay Raut came out and for just about 10 seconds waved his hands, and these are visuals that we have sent to our viewers, and we have shown them how he came out and he waved to them and he acknowledged their support for him. But nothing has come in so far, Samiksha, in terms of real quantitative and qualitative counter evidence against whatever it is that the ED is claiming, which is very specific and very large and goes back some amount of time.
Yes, Ankit, we also understand a lot of political reactions have come in. If you could take us through some of these reactions from across the political spectrum on the mega ED raids.
So let's classify them into two types. One is those who believe that the ED does its job the way it wants to, and this is an interesting bucket because it also includes senior NCP leader and Deputy Chief Minister, former of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar, who says that the ED, IT and CBI investigate matters that come to them, and this is part of the process, and Sanjay Raut should explain. And then there are those like the Aam Aadmi Party that claim that the ED is being used to silence the opposition. But one thing that is for sure is that there have been in just the last few weeks a number of times when the ED has seemingly got the upper hand of the politicians who are against them because of findings that have been made, recoveries that have been made, hard evidence that has been found in their searches. And so also in the Supreme Court, the ED has received an affirmation of its powers under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which are quite wide, and that has enabled them to carry on with these searches. And so really speaking, the onus appears to be on Sanjay Raut right now, and the ED appears to have the upper hand at the moment because there are a lot of questions but very few answers.
Yes. Ankit, stay with us. Let's, on that note, listen into some of the reactions that have come in so far.
जिस प्रकार से आज सुबह 7 बजे रविवार के दिन राज्यसभा सांसद शिवसेना के मुख्य प्रवक्ता श्री संजय राउत जी के घर पर ईडी की रेड हुई है, इसकी हम कड़ी निंदा करते हैं। यह घटना दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। जब संजय राउत जी को ईडी का समन्स आया, 2 बार आया, उन्होंने कहा, लिखित में अपने वकीलों के थ्रू एक मैसेज दिलवाया ईडी को कि पार्लियामेंट का सत्र चल रहा है, सत्र में बहुत सारे विषय पर चर्चा होती है, मेरा वहां रहना अति आवश्यक है, जब मैं वहां से समय पूरा करूंगा मैं आपके पास जरूर आऊंगा। लेकिन पता नहीं क्या आनंद फानन में यह फैसला लिया गया। 10-10 ईडी के अधिकारी किसी के घर में आ जाते हैं सुबह 7 बजे। देश में हजारों लोगों पर ईडी के केसेस चल रहे हैं, उन्हें समन्स भेजे जाते हैं 2 बार, 4 बार, 10 बार, लेकिन ईडी किसी के घर में चली जाती है, ऐसा होता नहीं। यह घटना पूरी तरह से राजनीतिक से प्रेरित है। जहां जहां बीजेपी आगे जाकर काम नहीं कर पा रही है, वहां वहां ईडी को आगे भेजती है। संजय राउत जी बोलना बंद कर दें, संजय राउत जी शांत बैठ जाएं, बीजेपी का विरोध न करें, ऐसी मंशा है। यह दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है और आने वाले समय में देश सब देख रहा है, इसका जवाब देश की जनता देगी।
And Ankit continues to be with us. Ankit, if you could talk to us about the grave allegations that Sanjay Raut is facing at this point with regard to the Patra Chaul scam.
So it's very interesting, Samiksha, that in 2007, an agreement was signed between 3 parties. One of them was this company that was led by Praveen Raut, who's said to be an aide of Sanjay Raut, and they were going to develop the Patra Chaul in Goregaon. Now, when...
Yes, we'll go across to Ankit in just a bit. We have Nitesh Rane of the BJP joining us. Sir, if I can get your quick reaction on the ED questioning Sanjay Raut with regard to the Patra Chaul scam.
So see, you have to understand that Sanjay Raut is a fraudster, and this particular case that he has been investigated in, ED has summoned him the last 3 times, but he never bothered to go to them and face the investigation. He kept running away from them, and today they have taken non-cooperation on record and had gone to investigate him and asked him what is his connection with Praveen Raut, who is already with in the ED custody. There was a certain sound clip going around all over the social media yesterday about this woman, and where Sanjay Raut was abusing the particular woman. And if you would have heard that sound clip very clearly, Sanjay Raut is clearly telling that lady is, you either name the land on my name or Praveen Raut's name. So I think there is a direct connection between Sanjay Raut and Praveen Raut. So in accordance to that, he's been investigated. I'm sure he will take the right steps.
All right. Thank you so much for giving us your response. So that was Nitish Rane of the BJP responding to the mega ED raids which are underway at Sanjay Raut's residence. Ankit continues to be with us. Ankit, if you could complete your point there, you were telling us about the grave allegations that Sanjay Raut is facing.
Right. So in 2007, this contract was given for redevelopment. However, the 672 people who were supposed to be given new housing after being relocated from Patrachal were not given. But the allegation is that Praveen Raut's company instead sold that area to about 8 private firms who used it for their FSI development. And so that was a transaction worth an estimated 900 crore rupees. On top of that, despite not fulfilling the Patrachal redevelopment, he received about 95 crore rupee equity infusion. There is also a money trail that links a transfer of about, let's say, I think it is 85 lakhs from the wife of Praveen Raut to Varsha Raut, the wife of Sanjay Raut. And that amount was returned without any additional interest 10 years later after the ED started its case. So that is one money link and trail that is there. And also there are the seizures that are already made in this case amounting to about 11 plus crore rupees, including the Dadar flat which was purchased because of that interest-free loan that Varsha Raut had received. And also 8 parcels of land in Alibag, which is, I think, currently in the name of Varsha Raut, and also Swapna Patkar, who is currently complained that she has received threats and is now being provided security by the Mumbai police. And so all in all, there is about a 1,034 crore rupee transaction, and the ED has taken note of this, and those are the deals that are under the probe right now, as per what our sources in the ED are telling us in this ongoing 14-year-long case in which a FIR was finally lodged in the year 2018, and the ED has really picked up the questioning this year after the arrest of Praveen Raut in February, following which Sanjay Raut has been called multiple times. He has not responded to those summons in the affirmative, in the sense that he cited one reason or the other to not show up, and now the ED is at his home and he is likely to be taken to the ED's office very soon, is what we are told, Samiksha.
Yes, Ankit, thank you for the moment. We'll keep coming back to you. So Ankit getting us minute by minute updates on the ED raids which are underway as we speak at Raut's residence.
मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ आज अयोध्या दौरे पर आए हुए हैं, और ये जो सामने की तस्वीरें हैं, मुख्यमंत्री अयोध्या पहुंचने के बाद हनुमानगढ़ी में मुख्यमंत्री ने दर्शन किया है, और हनुमानगढ़ी से निकलते हुए ये तस्वीरें रिपब्लिक भारत पर आप देख रहे हैं। मुख्यमंत्री हनुमानगढ़ी से निकल रहे हैं। मुख्यमंत्री के साथ हनुमानगढ़ी के महंत राजूदास जी मौजूद हैं। मुख्यमंत्री हनुमानगढ़ी में पहुंचकर वहां पर उन्होंने दर्शन किया, परिक्रमा किया, और उसके बाद हनुमानगढ़ी के बाद अब मुख्यमंत्री यहां से रामलला के दर्शन के लिए जा रहे हैं। मुख्यमंत्री यहां से रामलला के दर्शन को जाएंगे। हालांकि आज का जो आने का उनका जो कार्यक्रम है वो स्वर्गीय रामचंद्र परमहंस जी की पुण्यतिथि के कार्यक्रम में शामिल होने के लिए आज आए हैं, क्योंकि 2003 में आज ही के दिन रामचंद्र परमहंस जी ने अपना शरीर त्यागा था, और उसके बाद से ही हर वर्ष अयोध्या में उनका जो पुण्यतिथि का कार्यक्रम है वो होता है। और परमहंस जी के जो शिष्य हैं उन्होंने तकरीबन 7-8 दिन पहले मुख्यमंत्री आवास पहुंच करके मुख्यमंत्री से यहाँ आने का समय मांगा था। तो मुख्यमंत्री इसके बाद पुण्यतिथि कार्यक्रम में शामिल होंगे, और उसके बाद यहाँ से मुख्यमंत्री प्रशिक्षण शिविर के लिए चित्रकूट निकल जाएंगे।
And more breaking news coming in. We are told that the NIA conducted raids at 4 different locations in Gujarat, which include Ahmedabad, Surat, Navsari and Bharuch, is what we understand. The questioning of 3 accused is underway. 3 persons, beg your pardon, is underway as we speak by the NIA. Also, NIA conducting raids at 4 locations in Gujarat. 3 people are currently being questioned there as well in connection to the raids that were carried out by the NIA at 4 different locations in Gujarat, which are Ahmedabad, Surat, Navsari and Bharuch. We'll go across to our reporters and Shravan as well to get us more details. But what we understand is that multi-location raids being carried out by the NIA in Gujarat. Shravan Sen, our senior editor, is joining us for the details. Shravan, if you could take us through the details of these NIA raids which are underway.
Well, in fact, these are searches that are being conducted at multiple locations in 6 states that is connected to the activities of an ISIS module. In fact, we've been told that searches are being carried out in Madhya Pradesh, specifically in Bhopal and Raisen districts. In Gujarat, it's in Bharuch, Surat and Navsari and Ahmedabad district. In Bihar, it is in Arya district. In Karnataka, it's Bhatkal and Tumkur city districts. as well as Maharashtra, Kolhapur and Nanded districts. And as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned, this is in the Newband district where these searches are being carried out. This is based on FIR that was basically registered through motor by the National Investigation Agency just about a few days ago. In fact, searches are being conducted as we speak right now. These are sections under which the case was registered was under 153A and 153B of the IPC, and various sections of the UAPA Act.
All right. Shravan, thank you so much for taking us through all those details. So, as Shravan was telling us, NI raids which are underway at multiple locations, and in Gujarat, for that matter, where 4 different locations, we are told, are being raided, which includes in Ahmedabad, Surat, Navsari and Bharuch, and questioning of 3 persons is underway. And back to our top focus this hour of the mega ED raids which are underway at Raut's residence in Bhandup as well as in Dadar. The visuals in which you can see the ED crackdown on the Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut in relation to the Patra Chawl scam. We are told that the raids are continue for over 6 hours now. In fact, more details that are just coming in is that Sanjay Raut is in all likelihood to be taken to the ED office for further questioning in relation to the Patra Chawl scam, which amounts to over 1,000 crore rupees. So those are the details that we're getting at this point. Ankit reporting live from outside Sanjay Raut's residence, getting us all those details. In fact, protests are also being held as we speak by the supporters of Sanjay Raut. Ankit is with us. Ankit, take us through the details that you're picking up from your sources.
So right now, Samiksha, like we were telling you a little while earlier, the protest ebbs and flows, and right now it is in a bit of an ebb, even though, as you can see, the protesters remain seated, and they have essentially parked themselves in front of the gate of Sanjay Raut's residence, and behind them you can see that the police are deployed in numbers as well. A short while earlier, the police had intended to clear this area. We thought that that was because someone could come out of the residence or something of that nature, but that is when the Shiv Senics decided that they will sit in and not allow anything to happen, and a lot of sloganeering was then conducted. But since then it has stopped for a little while. There is a large presence of police, of Shiv Senics and of media personnel, as well as just people who live in this vicinity here at the moment. And this questioning, which began at 7:30, continues even closing in on about 1:15 p.m. We heard a short while earlier that it would be at about 2 o'clock, 2:30 perhaps, that Sanjay Raut could be taken to the ED's office, but it could be even before that. There is also unconfirmed speculation that he could be taken for a medical for some reason. Before that, we have only seen him once when he appeared at the window of the first floor of his residence at for about 10 seconds, and he galvanized and he emboldened his supporters a little further. That led to further sloganeering, but since then it has ebbed a little bit. And so right now what you are essentially looking at is a bit of a standoff between the police and the Shiv Senics, and everyone's waiting to see what happens next. And in charge of deciding that are, of course, the Enforcement Directorate officials, 12 of whom are at the residence. They all arrived at 7:30 along with central forces for security purposes. This is Bhandup in Mumbai. It is in a slightly harder to access area in Bhandup, and so there are precious few roads out of here, and so if anything is to happen, it is to happen through these chock-a-block full streets. And we will for instance, when Sanjay Raut's lawyer appeared a short while earlier, he had tremendous difficulty entering the residence because he was swamped essentially by the media, and also because it was very crowded to get into the residence, and the gates are open very infrequently, one could say. In the last few hours, a couple of deliveries of water have been sent inside, and the ever-present supply of tea, perhaps some snacks once in a while. That leads us to suspect that the questioning is going to go on for some time further. But they definitely have a lot to ask, because Sanjay Raut has not attended 2 of their summons, and so we know for a fact that the ED was ready to question him, and ED had summoned him, and he did not show up, and so now there is a likelihood that questioning is going on inside at the moment. Will it only take place here, or will it also take place at the ED's office a little later? That, I think, is the big question at the moment, and we await finding a definitive answer for that.
Yes, and Ankit, one of the many grave allegations that Sanjay Raut is facing is also how allegedly Sanjay Raut colluded with Praveen Raut to facilitate the flats illegally. We also understand that Sanjay Raut's wife has also been under the scanner when we talk about this Patra Chaul scam. If you could help us understand the allegations against Sanjay Raut as well as his wife when we talk about this 1,000 crore rupees scam.
So, insofar as Sanjay Raut's wife is concerned, it's because there is a transfer of money from Praveen Raut's wife to Sanjay Raut's wife that was made, and after that, it took about 10 years for that amount to be returned, and it was returned without interest. So what was the nature of that transfer is absolutely unclear at this point in time. But what it was used for is slightly more known. It was used to purchase this flat in Dadar that has been not only attached by the ED earlier, but it is also being raided at this moment as we speak. And so that, along with about 8 parcels of land in Alibag, along with other ancillary properties, totally amounting to a figure of about 11 crore rupees is what the Enforcement Directorate has seized, and that is part of the money trail that links these people. And so that is why Varsha Raut is also under the scanner here. She has been summoned a couple of times earlier as this case has been progressing, but right now
So, Ankit, they're getting us minute-by-minute updates on the ED raids which are underway. In most likelihood, Sanjay Raut will be grilled by the Enforcement Directorate at their office as well. We are told he will be taken to the ED office at around 2:30 p.m. That's the time frame we are looking at around 2:30 p.m. Sanjay Raut will be taken to the ED office for further questioning in the Patra Chaul scam. Ankit continues to be with us. Ankit, that's the time you're looking at, 2:30 p.m. to be precise. Around this time, can we expect Sanjay Raut to be taken to the ED office for further questioning?
That is what we are hearing at the moment, Samiksha. If you can hear my audio, that 2:30 is about when he could be taken, but it could also be before that. And what is the reality, that of course we'll only find out when it happens. But there have been many false alarms, or there have been many somewhat true alarms. It's hard to speculate at this moment because the police is not taking anything for granted. And now I can tell you that a speaker system has been brought here as part of the protest. We are just showing you visuals right now of the Shiv Sena having brought a speaker PA system here to the part of their protest, to lend voice to their protest. So a little while earlier, there was a speculation that perhaps because there was a likelihood that there would be too many people here, the ED would best be served by taking him to their office. Now it is perhaps past that time, because the Shiv Sena protest has received a big fillip because they've bought this large speaker, this large loudspeaker here, with which they have already started sloganeering. We have already told you the essential theme of their slogan. It's one, to support their leader, and the other is to attack their political opponents who they believe to be behind this grilling that he is facing.
Across all social media. ते महाविकास आघाडीचे मोठे नेते होते, त्यामुळे त्यांनी तुम्हाला सांगितलेलं आहे दर दिवशी तुम्ही 9 वाजता त्यांची बाईट घेत होते सकाळी. भाजपकडे जाणार नाही असं ते म्हणतात. ऐका असं त्यांना कोणी बोलवलंय का? असं त्यांना कोणी निमंत्रण दिलंय का? आपल्याला मी जाहीरपणे सांगू इच्छितो, ईडीच्या कारवाईच्या भीतीने कोणी येत असेल तर आमच्याकडे कृपया येऊ नका. शिवसेनेकडे पण नका आणि भाजपकडे पण नका. बिलकुल आम्हाला दबाव टाकून कुणालाही पक्षामध्ये घ्यायचं नाही, हे मी जाहीरपणे या ठिकाणी आवाहन करू इच्छितो. कुठल्याही आपल्याला ऐका, अर्जुन खोतकर असू द्या नाही तर आणखी कोणी असू द्या, मी जाहीरपणे या ठिकाणी आवाहन करतोय की ईडीच्या कारवाईला भिवून घाबरून दडपणाखाली कोणी असं कुठलंही पुण्याचं काम करू नका. मी सांगतो आणि तुम्हाला मी सांगतो, ऐका, हे बघा,